Thank you.
Thank you. There. All right, we'll get started. Everyone, welcome to the June 11th, 2026 our small meeting. My name is Lindsay Van Slamberg. I'll be your chairwoman. Fellow board members present this evening are Eddie Bello, Daryl Cobb, and Phil Turner. City staff present are Frankie Pinto, BARS Administrator, and Travis Scally, Senior Preservation Planner. The order of tonight's meeting will be as follows. For each application, we'll hear an introduction and overview from city staff for the benefit of the board and the public. This will be followed by the applicant's presentation. The applicant will have a 10-minute period of time to present their project. You'll approach the podium and state your name first and last for the record. And anyone speaking on behalf of the applicant, so this would be owners, designers, consultants, architects, should speak during the applicant's presentation versus during public comment. By ordinance, the board can ask questions of the applicant at any time, but by custom, we do so on the heels of the applicant's presentation. This will be followed by public comment. Written public comment that was timely submitted to the city's website has been provided to the board in advance of the meeting for review. If you are in the audience speaking as a member of the public, please raise your hand. I'll recognize you. Approach the podium, state your name first and last for the record, and your address if you live nearby. Public comment will be followed by city staff comments and recommendations. And once we've heard from city staff, the applicant will have a 5-minute period of time to clarify or respond to anything raised during the public comment and the city staff comments and recommendations. Once we've heard from the applicant, we'll move into board discussion and a vote. The results will be posted on the city's website. We have had no items withdrawn or deferred this evening. Please turn off your cell phones and please remember that the purview of this board is architecture only. So anything related to zoning, livability, stormwater is not within the purview of the board and should not be voiced here. Okay, we'll get started. Agenda item 1. A1 is review of the minutes from the May 28th, 2026 meeting. I make a motion to approve with the edits I circulated to the board this afternoon. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the motion passes. And Eddie, I know you wish to stay. Not here. Okay. All right. Agenda item B1 is 32 Dunham Avenue. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction and overview of the project, please.
Yes, ma'am. 32 Dunham Street is in Wagner Terrace, which is Council District 6. It is a category 4 in your architecture inventory, circa 1947 in the historic materials demolition district. They're requesting after the fact approval for partial demolition of exterior elements visible from the public right of way. This is the property on Dunham, and since was this after the fact, we've got a few photos from our code enforcement officer. From when he did his site visit for his stop work order. More. 3 more. And this is the condition as it was this morning. I've also got a copy. I'm not going to go through them, but I do have a copy of the approved permit drawings in case the board members need anything for reference. You just want to skip over them to the applicant presentation. And I will turn it over to the applicant.
Hi, my name is Stan Dixon. I am the architect representing the homeowners at 32 Dunham. The sequence of events that has gone in play here, I want to start by just saying we have great respect for BAR and what you guys do and for Charleston, and had no intention to do anything other than to respect the original architecture of this 1957 bungalow that our clients had bought. when we came on board with this project, it had been before the BAR and it had gotten approval. And it had also, a permit had been applied for and a permit had been granted. When our clients came along, they wanted to make some changes to the project. There was a previous architect that was working on this project before we started. When we started working on this project, there were some requests and changes that we made to the structure. It is completely built on the footprint that was previously granted, and it is essentially the same exact house that was previously granted for the first permit, and is the framing and the shape and the size and the massing of the house that received a permit. When we got involved in this project, we reached out to the city, and we also reached out to the BAR, and we were told exactly what type of permit to apply for by the city. We did that. We followed their instructions, and we did get a permit to start the construction of the house that you see now. When we started demolition of the house, taking out the aluminum windows that had been changed at some point in time, when we took off the asbestos siding, there was a considerable amount of damage to the house, both rot and termite damage. So the structural engineer recommended that we, and really thought it was almost necessary 100% to go ahead and redo that. It was not substantial enough to build on top of. So our builder proceeded on with that and continued to do the work again underneath the permit that we had, but we did the framing so that it was now structurally sound. Anything else to add to that, Karen?
We do have photos in our,
You should state your name.
I'm sorry, Lindsay Dixon, architect. These are some photos of the house actually prior to our involvement, prior to demolition, and then there are photos here of the termite damage and subsequent structural modifications that have been done by the previous owner, where floor joists had been severed and were unable to be reused for the safety of the occupant. Any questions for the applicant?
I've got a couple. So when did you guys get involved with this project? What time, what year?
I think it's probably June of 2020.
Yeah, June of 25. I believe,
Okay.
correct.
And we
And-
were informed in August that the additional revised permit application had been approved.
Okay, and I don't think this project had aluminum windows. I'm looking at a photo from 2024 of wood windows.
There were both
Some-
wood and aluminum. You can see on the upper floor, the second story was aluminum.
Okay.
The lower floor were wood windows, which we have used as our precedent to replace all the new windows with.
And so the drawings that we have show, your drawings that show removal of all the siding, all the windows, the chimney. Was that approved?
Yes.
That was approved by the city to remove all of the exterior siding,
Yes.
porch, chimney.
No, sir.
Okay, so that, and we don't have the proposed, I'm assuming there's proposed drawing somewhere, but we don't have that.
The city approved.
No, sir. The building department approved.
Excuse me.
The
Okay.
permit was not issued because there are three departments that review: the building department, the zoning department, and the BAR. BAR did not approve.
Correct.
So you didn't have an approved permit.
Okay.
You had a building department approval.
But you didn't have a
I
permit.
confirmed yesterday.
They didn't have a permit.
They had a permit to do the original rear addition.
Okay,
It does belong
Yeah.
demo in the rear.
got that. Okay. Just clarifying, so the drawings that we have that show wholesale, I mean, everything has been removed from this building. Were not approved by the BAR.
No, sir.
Okay, that's all I need.
Frankie.
Sure.
The original stop work order was issued when, during the phase when you showed the slide of it, it was just framing up only. Was that stop order ever lifted for them to continue on?
There were two stop work orders. The BAR one was not lifted.
Okay.
I don't know if the building one was, because
Okay.
building inspections also issued.
So the BAR one was issued when it was just framed up, right? On the frame. Yeah.
Yes, that's when Jimmy issued one. Yes, sir.
Why was that ignored? Why was that stop work order ignored?
Let me speak. Yes. I'm Nick Grossman, by the way, the general contractor on the project. I didn't realize that we got a stop work order from the BAR. We did receive a stop work order from Ken Granada. This is kind of what started some of the confusion. I emailed Ken based on the state of the house at the time and just said, hey, I understand that there's been some administrative confusion that happened here, but we're in a state where we're completely exposed to the elements. Am I able to continue to dry the house in while this goes on? And he said, yes. I have email documentation. He said, yes, at your own risk. Obviously, you're gonna have to go back up against the BAR, but for now, based on your client's investment, you can dry the house in. We're not lifting a stop work order, but you can continue on. To put a little context to the permit side of things, we thought that we were approved by the building department. I mean, we have documentation that gives us the approval to move into construction. What we failed to do was receive further BAR approval. Not intentionally, unknowingly. In the 15 years I've been building here in multiple municipalities in Charleston, I've never received a building permit without prior bar approval. So we had no idea that we had to go back to the bar. We thought that the building department handled that communication directly with the bar. When they issued that building permit, we were cleared to move forward. So that's where I think the confusion is, just to give it a little context.
And then there was a BAR stop work order back in March or whenever that was.
Yeah, I'm unaware of the BAR. I've never received anything from the BAR stop work order. We did, the city of the building department came by and issued a stop work order, at which point I contacted Ken Granada immediately.
And that was in March or something.
That was in,
April.
yeah, April. I want to say it was April.
Any other questions for the applicant?
We did have communication with the BAR, and the application that we have today for this demolition post was the application that was recommended that we fill out and apply today. So we were trying to do everything that you guys have been asking us to do.
Did you set aside anything and save anything like doors or?
We didn't save anything on the interior. The foundation itself and some of the first floor framing system is still in place, most of which was termite ridden. We kept some of the rim board on the outside, which is the timber rim board that we maintained. But again, we spoke with the structural engineer at length about the extensive termite damage that was done throughout the house, and that was the result of the reframe. So
We also kept the front porch and the front porch columns. They're still intact as well.
So literally everything is new except for the foundation brick and the porch column bricks.
Correct.
There was nothing salvageable.
No,
Or was it just easier to do what you did?
no, we don't think it was salvageable.
That's why we reached out to a structural engineer. And the house had been vacant for some time and very much inside and out.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking for the public?
Laurel Fay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. PSC staff confirmed with the city code enforcement officer on March 17th, 2026, that a stop work order had been issued for exceeding the scope of permitted work. Based on photographic documentation by PSC staff and the visit to the site this morning, it is clear that work has continued over the last 3 months and virtually all historic materials have been demolished. This egregious breach of process resulted in the needless and permanent loss of historic material that could have been saved and restored. 32 Dunneman was a well-preserved circa 1938 minimal traditional cottage that retained its original footprint, chimney, dormers, porches, and 3/1 wood windows. It clearly contributed to the historic Wagner Terrace neighborhood, but now has been completely dismantled and replaced with modern building material. The roof pitch was also increased, drastically altering the form of this cottage. The PSC asks that the board deny this after the fact request and require that all character defining details, including but not limited to the roof pitch, exposed rafter tails, and fenestration pattern, as well as the chimney, be built back to the exact approved specifications using high quality materials and craftsmanship. Thank you.
Kate Utility Historic Charleston Foundation. HCF does not support after the fact demolition request and is disappointed by the demolition at 32 Donovan Avenue. This house was an exceptional example of Wagner Terrace architecture and retained an impressive amount of its historic materials and architectural character. When this project was previously reviewed, HCF expressed concerns about the extensive loss of historic material that was being proposed, and unfortunately, the demolition that has since occurred far exceeds what was represented and approved. At a minimum, any reconstruction should preserve the original roof pitch in order to maintain the building's historic form and appearance. If any original windows or other historic materials were salvaged during demolition, they should be incorporated into the rebuilt structure. We respectfully request that the board deny this application for after the fact approval. Thank you.
Anyone else speaking from the public? Okay, Frank, you could give us city staff comments and recommendations, please.
Okay, staff has a timeline first for observations. February 8th, 2024, this was approved for a partial demolition by the BARS. And it was approval of demolition as submitted with board conditions. June 26, 2024, permit was approved by preservation staff, including those board conditions. And March 12th of this year, stop work order was issued by a building inspector for exceeding the scope of permit. And then March 16th, the stop work order was issued by preservation enforcement for the same. April 20th this year, the special permit review was denied by preservation staff and stating that board approval would be needed for after the fact demolition. For photos provided by enforcement, termite damage, photos provided in the application, the termite damage and wood rots and appear to necessitate demolition of the entire structure. Construction has continued since stop work orders were issued. And we've got a list of features that have been constructed incorrectly per the original permit approval. The roof pitch has been changed. The chimney has been relocated and rebuilt. Windows on east elevation are, there's the incorrect number. There should be 5 on the first floor, 1 on the second. And the front porch stairs are oriented incorrectly. For staff conditions, any board motion should include a timeline for resubmittal, whether that be to board or to permit. I would presume permit. And then the drawing elements that need corrected, roof pitch changed to match the previous, chimney returned to the original location and rebuilt, correct number and placement of windows, and to rotate the stairs to be parallel to the street. I will note that all of that is in the original permit approved, permit documents that were approved in June of 2024. So staff recommendation is a denial of after the fact demolition and then applicant to submit correct drawings for reconstruction to match previous structure.
Thank you, Frankie. Did you all want to respond to or clarify anything raised in the public comment or any city staff comments and recommendations?
Yes, I think there was one piece that was missing in that timeline. And Nick, please correct me if I'm wrong, but from our understanding, we received a permit on August the 14th, 2025, that the revised things that have been built today were all in that set of revised drawings, including the roof pitch, including the new window locations, including the new chain. Those were not any things that we've done without applying to the city. So those were in that application. in which we got approval for, not from the BAR, but from the city.
So you just, at that point, you had assumed BAR had approved it because the building department issued a permit.
To be clear, we reached out to the BAR on several circumstances, both by phone and email, and we never heard back from the BAR. We then went to the city and asked for their recommendation, what we do, and we followed their guidelines and did exactly what they asked for.
Thank you. Frankie, was it, I just, permitting, how do you pull a permit?
I didn't pull permit without BAR
I was
approval.
gonna say, don't you actually like sign off on it? before?
So the only thing that I found in the system was a permit review that was submitted that had a building approval, but it did not have approval by preservation staff. So that post permit was not issued.
So you can see in the portal, like you can see the
So-
approvals, but
Were they issued a permit? Yes or no?
I didn't see one.
Okay.
I only saw the denied one that we had sent comments on.
if you go on the website.
We were issued a building permit. It was released in the
Is it
portal.
posted on site out there?
Yes, it's on the portal. Yeah, that's what I mean. What is the process? Is it BAR first and then building department issues a permit? Is that the correct order of operations?
You shouldn't be able
So
to even-
I shouldn't be able to have a building permit in the portal without BAR approval. That was the confusion. Had we known, we would never do anything out of order, out of sequence, or that we didn't think we were supposed to be doing, ever. This is a very professional design team that was hired to do this house. None of this would have occurred if we would have understand the process. Stan's team reached out on multiple occasions to the BAR. We were then Kevin Sanders was the primary guy that we were dealing with at the building department and issued the building permit to us based on the updated roof pitch, addition of chimneys, windows, the entire 9 yards. We would have never done this on our own privy. That's not something we would do. But to think that that's the way that we would go about this is incredible.
I just would like to add to that, that we do have an email from Kevin Sanders on August 14th last year that says the additional scope has been approved. Before we can release the permit invoice, we will need the contractor info. So,
It's Kevin Sanders.
He's a development coordinator in the permit center.
and if you go on the portal, it says the permit was issued on 4/19/2025.
2000, what year?
25.
Thank you. All right, public comment and the applicant presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
My experience with the city of Charleston and permitting is you can't get a permit without BAR signing off on it. So somehow this appears to have fallen through the cracks on that.
Yeah, I've never been able to get a permit without BAR.
No, that's the way it always has been. There was a stop work order issued a few months ago. When work continued, I get that you did it on your own risk, but this is part of the risk. But because I walk by this house probably 5 times a week. And I watched the demolition, just everything's gone, except for, again, he kept a couple of columns on the porch. But my question is, I would like to us review or have some formal review with the building department to understand the permitting. Not that I don't trust the contractor, but this is very unusual for a permit issue. And maybe the permit was issued based on the prior BAR approval. And these folks turned in new drawings, because these drawings show something that BAR would never do. So I don't know what to do. I mean, this is not something we've ever approved.
I mean, I was here, when this came before the board back in 24.
We have a site visit.
Yeah, we had a site visit and we approved the demolition of the garage. We approved the demolition of the section of the back of the house to allow the addition and a piece of the roof. That's all we approved. And this is a mess. The historic house is gone. There is no more historic house.
And if you read the engineer's report, he talks about termites for the floor joists. So they replaced the floor joists. That has nothing to do with the siding, the
Yeah.
roof, all the windows, chimneys. for the chimney. I mean, that's not really relevant. The termite damage is not really part of the discussion.
No, and I've pulled apart
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
houses.
No, I think, again-
Historic houses, and when you come across termite damage, and I've seen far, far worse than this house, I've worked on far, far worse.
Yeah.
You go about it from the inside, you go in and you replace your wall studs from the inside, you go underneath the house, you replace your sills and your floor joists from underneath, and you leave the skin intact. You don't tear a house down to fix termite damage.
No, I mean, the approach was never to say that. I mean, the drawings clearly show that, and whether that's an error somehow in the city process is my concern. But I mean, the drawings show remove everything. All the windows, siding,
I'm on the citizens access portal. I was just looking. I mean,
so.
we're in the meeting, so I can't do a deep
Okay.
dive. I'm seeing it's applied for. I'm not seeing that it's been issued, but I don't know. This is either, in my mind, a deferral for additional information, because I think it's worth digging into the permitting issue. I'd like to know if it is relevant to me if a building permit was issued, because that's a big error. But, you know,
It is also important to note, though, that a stop work order was issued and work continued, and
Exactly.
it was a lot of work. Yeah, up 4 and 5 often, so it wasn't like a couple things happened.
I'm very familiar with this house. I lived behind it for a number of years, you know, the house directly behind it, and I'm very familiar with it. I've been inside the house when the previous owners lived there. It was a great house.
Yeah, was. Well, I'll move for a deferral, because I don't think it'd be fair to deny it if there's something the city did, made a mistake or something, but deferral to research the permitting issue. I will say on record, if it turns out the city did not, or I can see sometimes there's confusion that's kind of rare, but you can see that, but if it does have to come back or something, we would need to see full drawings, because I know there's a set of drawings here that we don't see for what's proposed. And the board should have a review over that. If it turns out that it wasn't.
I'd like to add
an
to
honest
that.
mistake.
I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
I'd like to add to that, I would expect that whatever happens, that this board is probably gonna want the original form of the building returned, meaning roof slope. I mean, that's
It's a basic
the basic stuff, you know, chimney put back, you know,
brick chimney.
chimney.
all right, we have a motion on the floor for deferral to research the permitting issue. Do I have a second to Eddie's motion?
I'll second.
Bill, put the motion to a vote. Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
the chair votes the majority, and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Agenda item 2 with 399 Sumter Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
Let me give you 1 second to finish it. So I get confirmation on who seconded that. Was it you, Bill?
The second is.
Oh, yeah.
It was Eddie's motion.
Yeah. Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got everything. Next we have 399 Sumter Street, West Side, Council District 6. It is a Category 4, Group 1, circa 1915 in the Historic Materials Demolition District. Requesting an appeal of that decision for a replacement of 6 windows with renewal by Andrew. This is the property's location on Sumter. I'm going to turn it over to the applicant. The applicant here.
I mean, I'm Brian, I believe, with the applicant, he's my general manager at Renewal, but I thought Mr. Zavada was here.
I am here.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see him.
Did you want to say?
Oh, I can present.
You
Sure.
Just something, if no one's here, I need to defer it to give you an opportunity to speak, so you don't have to say much.
Oh, yeah. Tom Zawada, I'm the homeowner. Yeah, we're looking to replace 6 of our windows on our upper floor. They are can't tell if they're original because whoever we bought from the home from did a bunch of stuff to the house, so I don't know if they're original, but they are the wood windows, single pane, 3 top, 1 bottom, double hung windows. We're looking to replace them just because they're in rough shape. 2 of the 4 that we're looking to replace don't really open. There's a bunch of slots all over. We got a bunch of pavement seating and stuff on the inside. I'm sure we don't have bugs come in, but yeah, we were going with the renewal by Anderson windows. Maybe we're just looking for a durable, well warranted, well reviewed window. Basically just looking for something we can open up during the fall and spring, so we can have open windows and let them get air in.
Could you, on your slide, point out which, I assume there are photos in there, point out which windows we're talking about?
All right, kind of small. So
You can also point if you wanna.
I would.
Yeah.
On the front view, it's kind of hard to see, or on the left view, it's kind of hard to see. We're not replacing any of these. On the front view, we're doing the 2 that are in the balcony. And then on the right side, we're doing the one in front right here. And then there's 2 other windows. We're not doing those right now. The one in the back, which is still hard to see from the video or from this picture. And then on the back of the house, back of the property, we're doing the 2 in the upper, which I don't see pictures of.
Like the rear of the house.
Yeah, the rear of the house. Don't see pictures of those. But these are the 2 on the side.
So minus the back, how many windows?
So it'd be 4 out of the 6. You can see them in front and side.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there's like pages and pages of the renewal windows, just to save me a little bit of time. Are they wood windows?
It is. You want to-
I mean, I saw that they're double pane, but I couldn't figure out what the material was.
Great champion of the renewal. They're a Fiberx material. You guys approved it on Smith Street, different year build, I understand, but it's a Fiberx material, double pane, well insulated. I believe these were DP50, were they not? Or were they impact? I don't remember.
They're not impact.
Okay, DP50. They do have the grids to match the pattern. I don't know if we can go back. Should be in there. No.
So maybe forward.
Yeah, it's not gonna show up. We should have a fix. But yeah, they yeah, there were 3 wide, 1 high to match the rest in the top sash only. But it is the Fiberx material. We brought one here last time. You guys all got up and looked at it. It's 40% wood, the rest of the composite. It's very durable. Will not ever need to be painted, won't rot. So for that, this kind of weather and climate, needs to be like that. So.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And Frankie, I think you said this morning, reason why y'all couldn't handle this at staff is because of.
It is because it is a group 1 building, and also because this isn't a product that you've allowed us to approve.
So they can't approve it at staff level. We've got to approve it.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Now, all of the windows in there now are wood except for that one picture window, I believe, which is a metal window.
Yeah, I believe so.
Steel window.
Yeah.
On the first floor.
On the first floor. Yeah.
And that one's not proposed.
No.
Anything?
You're not concerned about having 3 different types of windows in there?
We're looking to do the rest of them later.
Okay.
Just the double hungs though.
Yeah.
So. So like all the windows on this side, there's 1 double hung on this side that's over the stairwell. That would be the only one we'd be looking to replace. These are all just like picture frame, solid windows. Those are fine. Those are in good shape. But yeah, the rest of them on the side, we'd be looking to replace and then not the ones.
Back to Frankie again. Let's say if we were to approve these, could we approve them knowing that he wants to replace the other ones later and match them? Could we approve a wholesale replacement, or would he then come back the other ones later, or how would that
We
work?
can do that to staff.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
future,
you could do.
That's
that
true.
with them.
then they can open the file and see it then.
If you give us the authority to.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can approve it today because it's not before us. And the staff wants it. Inspector.
I like where you're going.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking in public?
Utilities for Charleston Foundation. For the window policy statement, windows should be replaced in kind with wood true divided light windows that match existing. We respectfully request that staff should be upheld.
Laurel Fay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC upholds staff denial of simulated divided light windows, which are not an appropriate replacement material or visually compatible with the historic character of the property. There is a path forward for repair and or appropriate replacement in kind as outlined in the city's recently adopted BAR policy statement on replacement windows, which is a helpful reference for determining what kind of windows are most appropriate for a property based on its age and location. Based on this policy statement, this category 4 group 1 property should have wood, true divided light windows, and or match the existing windows. We encourage the applicant to work with staff to find the best solution. Thank you.
Anyone else speaking from the public? Frank, you could give us any staff comments and recommendations, please.
As this is an appeal of a staff decision, I just have some observations of information. 4/22/26, this staff denied a permit. The requested product could not be approved by staff due to it being Fibrex. Since this is a group 1 for the policy statement for the historic materials demolition purview, staff can approve replacement of deteriorated historic materials in kind. This group, examples of in kind include the replacement of original single glazed wood windows with new wood true divided light sashes to match the size, dimension, profile, and light pattern. Information on why staff could not approve.
Got it. Okay. Did you want to respond to or clarify anything in the public comment to the city staff comments and recommendations?
I guess one thing I just wanted to respond on that one. One of the reasons we went with these windows is because they do have a long warranty. They're supposed to be long lasting. Whatever the window stands behind it, right? They have like a lifetime warranty on these. If these ever get damaged at all, they come back and fix them for free. So that was kind of the big one. We've talked to them, and as he mentioned, they have been approved in a similar area of town that is in the historic materials demolition purview. So mainly we were just looking for something that was going to be good for the house and also was consistent with what was already.
One other question. As far as the age of the windows that are in there now, do they have jam liners or?
No.
This one? Okay, so they're likely the original windows you think?
Yeah. I would like to say too that they are simulated divided lights right now. We could change that to full divided light with a spacer. It looks identical to a true divided light. You can't tell the difference. Just if that was needed, if that would help to get it approved.
Thank you. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and vote. And I just want to say, I don't know which way the board is going, but I know what I don't want to do if we were to approve this is to set a precedent slippery slope. Because this is a, what is this, group 1? Category 1, but the group, basically, I don't want to set a precedent where then if this is not something we would approve in other buildings. And I know we have approved it on new builds, but just lay that out there. I'm worried about precedent.
To me, I'm still kind of scratching my head. Why such a simple building is a group 1 building?
Right. It's been
Yeah.
altered.
Yeah.
It's been altered significantly.
Yeah,
The exterior. Yeah.
I just wouldn't see this as a group 1.
Weren't you at the city? Did you do?
Weren't you at the city?
I don't think we grouped any of these. Where was me?
But that's why
No, I appreciate that, yeah. But I think just to I mean, I'm leaning toward approving it just to get, and I'm sorry, preservation groups, because I'm very strict on windows. This building to me has been altered so much. And I don't want to set a precedent, but this is a unique condition. There's not, I don't know. When I look at this building, I just see all the things that have changed over the years.
They've got a reason that I'm not opposed to it, that on this particular
Right.
group one structure.
It's for category one, right? Different animal.
Or unaltered.
Yeah, I wouldn't even, we wouldn't have the discussion. I don't know. I mean, the front window, the ground floor is steel, which clearly, you know. So I have a little less heartburn over it. I do like the option of having the spacer bars, so it looks a little, you know, a little more authentic. I mean, you can't tell the difference, but, I mean, 3/1 too, the bottom pane, you know, it's one piece of glass or one. Okay.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Eddie that this building's been so heavily altered over time, and in my mind, it was miscategorized, you know. It's definitely not, I mean, nothing is your house. It's a nice little house. It's just not, it's not what you would normally see as being in the highest category. And so, yeah, and just from being out there this morning, you know, some of the windows did look pretty bad from the ones that I got to look at. So,
Bill, do you want to make a motion?
yes, I will make a motion for approval for replacement of all windows so that you don't have to come back. And I want to go on record as my reasoning behind that is that although it is a group one building, it has been heavily altered over time.
But Bill, I think we can't approve future windows being removed.
I was gonna suggest.
We don't know
revised.
what those are.
So I was gonna
Right.
say approval for replacement of windows as
I see what you
submitted
mean.
with a
Submitted.
board comment.
And
Then-
it's staff authority to approve to match these in the future if they're requested.
That's
How's that?
good.
Can I point out something for the board real quick before we put a motion on the record? Since it's demo purview, I think you would have to approve demolition of the windows that he is requesting,
Yeah, you're right.
but allow staff to approve demolition of other windows in the future.
I don't want you.
They're confusing, yeah.
Sorry.
No,
read it
it's
back.
good. I'm glad
Because
you
it's
pointed that
demo
out.
purview, it really messes up
Yes,
when things are repeated.
yes.
Well, unless you guys are tied to that window on the first. That steel window.
And I'll second that.
Okay. So
Or
I've got a
second.
motion on the floor. For approval of demolition of the windows as submitted on the basis that although this is a group one, the structure has been heavily altered. And then with a board comment that we authorize staff to approve demolition of the remaining windows. Right. All right, thank you, Eddie, for your second. The motion for a vote. Daryl?
Yeah, fair.
Bill?
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie?
Yeah, in favor.
Chair votes the majority and the motion passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 3, 443 UT Street. Frank, you have to give us an introduction and overview of the project, please.
But I'm done.
Oh, not the second vote.
Oh, no. Sorry. Give me 1 second to type. 443 Houston Street is in Hampton Park Terrace, Council District 6. It is a category 4, also group 1, circa 1915 in the Historic Materials Demolition District. They're requesting approval for partial demolition of exterior elements visible from public right of way. This property's location, go ahead and go. You can go ahead and stand up, sorry. And I'll turn it over to the applicant.
I'm Ryan Sanders with Old City Builders. We're the builder for the customer. Let's see. We're requesting to demo the existing columns here on the back porch and as well as the railings and pickets. It's our opinion that they're not original. They're square 2x2 pickets, 4x4 post columns. This whole portion of the house is, in our opinion, not original. It's the original portion of the house. So we're requesting to demo this area and essentially the shingle roof on that area as well. We will be reusing those existing windows. So these two that are here, these are original. As far as I can tell, they're wood, single pane, putty glazed windows. So our plan is to reuse those in the.
Any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone speaking?
Laurel Fay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC appreciated the opportunity to visit the site this morning where we noticed that this demo area would be visible from Ashley Avenue. While we always encourage retaining historically open porch spaces, including the existing back porch, which was original, we acknowledge that there can be flexibility for alterations at the rear, and we appreciate that the applicant voiced the intent to salvage and reuse the 2/2 historic windows proposed for removal, and ask that that be included as a part. Thank you.
Anyone else speaking from the public? Okay, Frankie, if you're good with these staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff observation, request includes demolition of its existing second floor rear porch elements, existing wood baluster, porch decking, exterior wall framing, and trim, while the rear eave is being removed from the drawings. It appears that the porch roof is not included in the request. So this doesn't appear to contain any approval to interact with the roof fabric. Area of demolition also appears to be later than the structure. Staff condition for approval, if approved, project would need to wait the 30-day appeal period before the permit can be issued. Staff recommendation is approval as submitted.
Thank you, Frankie. Did you want to respond to or clarify anything in the public comment or the staff comments and recommendations?
As far as the roof, so the roof fabric, so in an ideal world, we would pull the shingles back, but if it's desired by the VAR, we can build on top of it and leave the existing there. The framing will stay there, the sheathing will stay there. But as far as the shingles go, we plan to remove them, but if it's desired to leave them in place, we can as well.
You're just gonna do an overframe.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I mean, if you crane your neck, you can kind of see it from Ashley Avenue. It's not strongly visible. Yeah, the demolitions to the rear where we usually like to see it. I think the porch has kind of lost a lot of its integrity with the infill of the downstairs porch and then the one-story addition put on the back. So I'm comfortable with this.
And too, I think the impact to the street, public right of way is minimal. But for approval and with staff comments.
With
How
staff.
about the reuse of the two windows that are?
We don't. We
I
can.
don't think we can. And I didn't understand. Yeah, I thought about that too. So I mean,
We could do a board
go
recommendation.
on his word for reusing the window. So hopefully that works. I didn't really understand. You want to keep the shingles of the roof?
No, I was saying per his drawings, it didn't appear that there was an area of the, it looked like the eave was requested, but not. I didn't, when we looked at the drawings, we didn't see any portion of the roof that was.
Okay. Sounds like they're leaving most of the roof. They're just gonna do it on top. So you don't need to keep the shingles. I don't see any reason for that. And I don't think that's what you meant anyway.
No, it was, we were trying to clarify what was being shown on the drawing.
Okay. So
So it's approval as submitted with the staff condition.
what Lindsay said, yes.
Do I have a second to Eddie's motion?
I'll second.
There, I'll put the motion to the vote. Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie,
Yeah, in favor.
Joe,
Yeah, in favor.
Chair votes the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Agenda item 4, 30 F Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction and overview of the project.
Sorry. Their fault, they were asking me questions when I was trying to. 30 F Street is in West Side, Council District 4. It is not surveyed. circa 1974 in the historic corridor district. They're requesting full demolition of the existing dwelling. The property's location on F Street, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
Hi, Kyle Long, owner of 30th Street, appreciate it. Had the property for about 10 years now. From the best of my knowledge, I haven't found anything that the house has been there since somewhere between 1998 and 2001. Noticed you had 74 on there.
Our preservation planner said she had found confirmation that there was a structure with that dimensions in 74. Which meant it would be under our purview.
Right, okay. Because it's a little contradictory to the tax map and the Sanborn maps. It does show a property there, but it was in the front and it appears to have probably been wiped out by the hurricane. So I don't know if that's part of the confusion. So at any rate, I'm just looking for it doesn't appear to be historic to me, so I was hoping for a full demolition on it. It's in pretty bad shape. I tried to reinforce the floor because we had it lifted up and put on piers to see what was going on with it, and it just kind of collapsed, and I had to add in some lumber for support. I guess I don't know what else to say other than I'm getting some positive feedback from the neighbors. They'd like it to be removed. The neighborhood has been phenomenal the last few years with a lot of construction going on there. And, you know, I'd like to be part of that positive progress with that. And I own the house next door as well, 30 and a half in the back. And my insurance company is none too happy with me about this particular place too. They call it hazardous. So I'm just looking forward to trying to get something done there. Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant?
I would say thank you for the research.
Yeah.
That you did.
Oh, thank you. I try and be thorough. I don't know. I've never actually, I've never presented a demolition before, so this is new territory for me.
Do we have anyone speaking in the public?
Yes.
My name is Sarah Mack, and I own the property at 26 F Street. And that property next door has been dormant, not taken care of for many years since I bought the house in the front. And I have subsequently built another house in the back. And with the low maintenance of it, I have trees growing over into my house. And I knew the other gentleman that said he was the owner. I don't think I ever met you.
But not me.
Oh,
I'm not the owner of that property.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay, because it was very disheartening when you put so much into your property, and that's looking like that next door. But I didn't think that you had to come here for demolition. I figured if you owned it, you would be able to do that. So could you give me clarification on why that is that he needs because I remember when they jacked up all of those houses, because initially I was told that they were going to put 4 houses, but
That's not correct. The guy who owns the property next to you is, I feel the same way you do right now, so thank you.
And just for you, for education purposes, our jurisdiction is a little different all over town. But in this particular area, I would say north of Line, we have demolition, we have purview over demolition of anything that's 50 years or older. They've got to come before the board so that we make sure people aren't demolishing historic structures that would, part of preserving Charleston, so, yeah.
but you're not the owner of 28,
28, no.
just
ma'am.
30 in that other house in
Just
the
30
back.
and the one I redid, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm in the neighborhood.
Thank you. It's so nice to
Thank you,
meet you.
ma'am.
It's great.
If anyone else speaks?
By the way, I feel the same way. And I thank you for. Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
I just have a question.
It said not surveyed on that property. In the, so we have architecture inventories of the majority of the peninsula, and they were done at different points in time, but that property was not included in that architecture inventory. And that just, the inventories gives property numbers, and that has to do with how we as staff have to review things. And that one just was not included, so, and what, instead of just leaving it blank, we just say it was not surveyed.
Okay, so by the time you make your decision, you already have the survey, it's just.
This part of town was done in 2004. And that's one of our newer surveys. Surveys were done on the lowest part of the peninsula, I think it was 70. I always get these numbers messed up, so.
74.
All right, so there's a
And then
74, there's an 80s, and then there's the 2000s, and they're all different parts of the peninsula. And there's actually another one the city's working on right now.
Is there anyone else speaking? Okay. Frank, you can give us any staff comments and recommendations, please.
Okay, I just have two observations. One, that member of staff did verify that our information was that there was a structure that dated to 1974, which is what was put it under purview, and staff typically does not support full demolition. However, if the board does decide to approve, the project would still need to wait that 30-day appeal period as required by ordinance. Since staff does not support full demolition, our recommendation is a denial as submitted. But I know there were some comments.
Thank you, Frank. Did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
Yeah,
Before we move into board vote?
I don't mean to, I'm sure your staff does a great job. I'm a little confused on the 74. With all the paperwork that I have. And that's not just me, that's people that work at Sanborn and everybody. I know that there was a home on that site, but it's in a totally different position. And I don't think we're talking about the same one. That's just, that's all I can say, I guess. So, thank you.
So just to add on to that, and I don't think it's gonna matter, but so the article in here that I'm reading about 5 zoning ordinance variances approved. And it says construction of a 1-family dwelling at 30 F Street, which I assume is this house, but what, or you think that was approved? That's 1974.
Yeah.
And so that was a house that was lost in Hugo is what you're saying.
They were trying to, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think
And so that may be where staff got their information. They don't know about this more recent house.
I think so. I'd have to refresh my memory. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
The
It's
articles,
confusing.
I forgot that I included those two articles too. I
Yeah.
was trying to just paint the entire.
Yeah, no, it's good.
We
It's very helpful.
appreciate very
Yeah,
much.
it's very good.
I did whatever I could find because I wanted to be sure. That's why I was a little confused by the 19th.
Okay, all right, thank you. Sorry to make it more
Yeah.
confusing.
Public comment and the applicant presentation is now closed. We move into board discussion and a vote. I thought the site visit was helpful this morning to my decision that I am not the architect or design professional on the board, but I don't think we should be preserving bad examples.
It's
Even if it is
Yeah.
historic.
It's not like a vernacular piece of architecture to this region. It's something you could pretty much find anywhere. It's very simple. It's in pretty rough shape. Regardless of it, if it's 74 or 94, I just don't think it's a nice piece of work.
I totally agree. I don't think it's got any historic fabric we would need to make. Yeah, I thought it was 74 when I read it. A little bit confused, but I don't have any issue with it being rooftop unless you want to comment. I was just gonna make a motion.
Make a motion. I don't have anything else to
Okay,
add.
I move for approval of demolition.
I'll say.
Approval with the board with that condition. 30 days appeal period. Okay, we have a motion on the floor for approval of demolition as submitted with staff condition. Bill, I hear a second.
Yes, second.
All right,
Sorry,
the
I
motion to
jumped
the vote, Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
chair votes to the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
And just so you know, you can apply for your demolition permit at any time. It's just staff by ordinance has to wait the 30-day appeal period before we can approve it.
No problem.
And item 5 is 2 Larm Street. Frankie, if you give us an introduction overview of the project.
Okay, 2 Lawrence is in West Side Council District 6. It is a category 4, circa 1905 in the Historic Materials Demolition District. They're requesting approval for partial demolition of exterior elements visible from the public right of way. Here's the property on Lawrence Street, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
Hi, good evening, guys. Thank you for hearing me out. My name is Scott McCarter with Ace of Trades Construction. I'm representing the homeowner. So let me start by saying that I understand that tonight's review is limited to the demolition component of this project and recognize the historic significance of said project of this 1930s Freedman's Cottage. With that, I also recognize that a portion of the roof will be carefully evaluating the alternatives and working to limit the demolition area to only what is absolutely necessary. The rear addition, the existing street facing roof form and character defining portions of this cottage would remain largely intact. It's not lost on me that this is not something that you guys typically would approve. However, due to the significantly small nature of the lot size, we're really very limited to what we can do as far as making this a practical, useful space that essentially is essentially a 1-bedroom home. The homeowner is working every which way to try to find a way to make it a little bit more useful. So that being said, the demolition is confined to the rear of the structure, preserves the large majority of the historic relationship of the cottage and its relation to Lawrence Street. As I've mentioned, the demolition has been intentionally minimized to the best of our ability. And I think after that, I'm largely going to be just repeating myself. So just want to say thank you for your time with all of that. And I'll leave it to you.
Any questions for the applicant?
I guess you haven't had the opportunity to kind of dig into the walls of that rear portion to see maybe if it, how it might be.
I haven't started to open up the walls of that rear porch, and I think there's some pictures here.
Not the porch, but the rear portion of that by the house.
Yeah, no, I have not done any, exploratory demolition to kind of see what we have behind it. Wasn't really sure if that was even allowed, so.
You'd have to ask the homeowner.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not sure that the homeowner would appreciate it either.
Tearing up some of the roof.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone speaking? Frank, you could give us city staff comments and recommendations.
Okay, so staff had some observations. The request includes demolition of a 3-porch siding, trim at the rear and portion of roof. Existing structure is a Freedman's Cottage. The request is to the rear, but due to its location but anyway, due to location, the rear is visible. We noticed a discrepancy between the drawing and the photo request. We think the entire rear elevation is requested for demo. Is that correct?
The rear facing side.
The rear side.
Yes.
I think there might have just been a drawing error or an error between the drawings and the photo you marked up. Okay. Staff is not opposed to the removal of the screen porch. We are concerned that a demo request, that the request would require removing the entire roof, as we've had applicants state before that there's not a way to splice into the historic roofs. the term metal roofs. And staff has previously supported small portions of demolition at roofs such as this for dormers. Conditions, while staff doesn't support roof demolition, if the board were to approve, we think that it should be pulled away from the rear chimney. Also, if the board were to approve, the eaves and the rear corner board should be retained in the same project. If approved, the project must wait 30-day appeal period prior to us approving. Staff recommendation is a denial.
Okay, did you want to respond to or clarify anything? Raise any public comments?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd just like to make sure that I'm clear that the rear chimney wouldn't remain intact. We're looking at approximately about 6 feet of that rear end of the roof line where we'd be tying in, and largely that's a relatively small amount of what we have, but we just don't have a whole lot of room behind the house and the rear property line to work with. So it's kind of put us where we are. So
There's a corner board that's still present on the left side of the house, right behind the chimney. So you're basically from that old corner board back.
yes, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, public comment on the applicant's presentation is now closed. So move into board discussion and a vote.
On the left side of the house, that corner board back appears to be an addition. Just what me and Bill were thinking when we were on site. I guess it gives us less heartburn about demolition.
Yeah, I think this started out as a typical, freedman's cottage. Some were 2 rooms deep, some were 3 rooms deep. I think this one was 3 rooms deep because the rear chimney matches the forward chimney. And so I agree with Daryl. I think that was an addition. The question is, how old is that?
Well, so first of all, I don't have any issue with removing the screen porch. That to me
Yeah,
is not
there's no
even
issue.
really worth discussing. I went by too. I didn't meet with y'all, but part of the difficulty, and I'm very sympathetic how small it is. And living there, I'm sure it's a challenge, but that's part of the character of the house. These are small little buildings. And to me, this is an example of opt-in for design review. We've seen so many, and it's only 6 feet, like you said, but what comes next, which we have no purview over unless you opt in for review, it could devastate the house, completely change the scale. And if I knew what the design was gonna be and we had some kind of control over it for an addition, because I guess that's what's coming next, then that 6 feet might not matter, but it could matter a huge amount if it's some horrible, I mean, there are plenty of terrible additions all over. And so I'm not comfortable, because that's a character defining feature, is that scale of that roof on that little building. And so I'm just not comfortable approving it. Very sympathetic to what they're trying to do, because I totally understand, but they've got the option really keep the same request, but show us what the design will be if they're okay with that. Hopefully the board's fair and it's a good design. Seems to be a better path to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not comfortable with
Um,
approving the demo.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think if by chance, if we were to approve it, it would have to be in the form of keeping like 8 to 12 inches of the rear of the original mass, and keeping the eave of the back eave of the original mass, and then that would require some sort of hyphenated addition or something.
Or they could,
Yeah.
they could take, it's only 6 feet, and they could have a big giant, and I know that's square footage, I get it, but there's really good ways of handling that and really bad ones. And what I worry is it could completely change the character of the house if it's not done in a thoughtful way.
It's nothing worse than a camelback on it.
And there's not a good solution usually, but they're really bad solutions. So that's really what I'm concerned about. I don't want to cause hardship. It's just, that's the character of that. I mean, that's an interesting little street, that's just part of the character of that street.
So I think we could approve the demo of the shed today. Make it back to
Yeah,
the spring.
no issue with that.
Ned,
deny or defer, if that's better for the applicant.
Probably a denial, because they
Denial.
need to, they would,
I would really be interested in trying to learn more about the age of that addition.
Behind that, what you're
Yeah.
saying,
If there was a way to
looking at the foundation, it's
dig
kind
into
of hard
that.
to
old-
see. I don't know, I can be overruled easily or outvoted, so,
I didn't know if you knew.
sure, I will make a motion for, I'm gonna defer the roof. Because I feel like denial, they want to come back, it's harder to overcome the denial, gives them some options. Maybe they come back and they don't want to opt in, but they can do research. So I would just defer the demo of the roof, approval of the screen porch, at least they have that.
With staff condition 3,
Um,
that's just a 30 days.
No, well, do you have to appeal a non-historic screen porch? Do they need to wait 30?
Well,
Well, he's probably not gonna start that anyway.
Is that even in our,
Screen porch would be approved.
Um,
It's clearly not old.
if you are saying as a board, you are certain it is not old, then no.
I'm certain.
Then I don't want to pick up.
I would say that you would not need that staff condition because it's not
So no
applicable.
staff condition.
all right, so we have a motion on the floor for approval of them, excuse me, deferral of demolition of the roof as proposed, approval of the demolition of the rear porch as proposed. Do I have a second to Eddie's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill. A motion to a vote. Daryl?
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie?
Yeah, in favor.
Bill?
Yeah, in favor.
Showed up to the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 6 is 8 Shepherd Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an overview of the project, please.
Eight Shepherd Street is in East Side Council District 4. It is a category 4, circa 1920 in the Historic Materials Demolition District. They are requesting full demolition of the existing dwelling. Is the property's location on Shepherd. And I will turn it over to the applicant.
Is the applicant here for 8 Shepherd?
Yeah.
Oh,
My name is Robert Shipley. I'm the architect and probably the builder. The client bought this property, actually lives right next door, and he looks right out at it. And when he came up for sale, he wanted to buy it and he knocked it down. It's in pretty rough shape. I guess you went out there today and looked at it. I told him it could be charming if we fixed it up. Made a nice little, he did a lot of work. I don't know if you looked underneath the crawl space, but it's used like bricks and concrete block. Floors all over the place, so it's it would be better just to knock it down and build a nice new home there.
any questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Good.
We have anyone speaking from the public?
Hello, everyone. I'm Antonio Coxum, representing the Eastside Community Development Corporation in its board. We have our president in attendance right now. This modest vernacular Eastside cottage reflects the small-scale residential character that has long defined the neighborhood. Features such as its front-facing gable, wood clapboard siding, decorative iron porch supports all the part of a building tradition that once lined many East Side streets. So based on that, On the behalf of the Eastside residents and stakeholders, we respectfully oppose the request of a full demolition of the early 20th century cottage at 8 Shepherd Street. Based on the application, the house appears to contain significant historical material, architectural detail, and character defining features. The application also indicates the structure is good. Given this, we do not believe a compelling case for demolition has been made. The east side has already lost a substantial amount of historical housing. Each demolition further erodes the neighborhood's character and cultural memory and sense of place. Modest homes like this are especially important. They reflect the history of working families and generations that have shaped this community. Demolition should be a last resort. We are also concerned about the cumulative, the impact of repeated demolitions. These decisions do not happen in isolation and continue to lose historic homes, weakens the broader fabric of our neighborhood. And it is also worth pointing out the vibrant colors on the home. Lately, we haven't been seeing as much of the beautiful colors around the east side on the homes. So I'm Antonio Coxum, representing the ECDC, and thank you for your consideration and commitment to protecting the east side's historical character. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alexis Wright Singleton, and I'm the East Side Neighborhood Association President. And we want to make sure that Charleston's preservation ethic reaches ordinary buildings as well as extraordinary ones. 8 Shepherd is a contributory East Side cottage in a neighborhood shaped by working people and small property owners. The city's own framework says buildings like this contribute to neighborhood character and should be preserved and retained. If we keep erasing modest structures like this, we're not preserving Charleston, we're editing it. If Charleston only remembers itself through mansions, it'll forget the people who actually made the city. Charleston has not treated modest vernacular houses as beneath notice. The Preservation Society has long argued that vernacular architecture is disproportionately impacted by development pressure. And a 2020 Preservation Society publication highlighted a previously neglected cottage at 151 Shepherd Street that was successfully rehabilitated and later received the Carolopolis Award. On the same logic, the Society's early reporting on 227 Nassau Street on the east side argued that small vernacular cottages are critical to preserve precisely because east side neighborhoods face resurgence and new development pressure. I urge you, and I know I didn't see a picture of the house, but the house is intact and it is that gorgeous orange color there.
Yeah, picture.
Yeah, and we ask that you not demolish 8 Shepherd Street. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Aberley. I live at 367 President Street, but I actually am here this evening because I own a house on the opposite side of the street. Frank, I don't know if you have a street picture by any chance. Okay, well, y'all are familiar, I'm sure. It's hard to believe 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago to the day, the board unanimously rejected the demolition request for 5 Shepherd Street, which was in much worse condition than this house. And I ended up buying that house just to preserve it. And now here we are 5 years later, and it took a lot of time, a lot of energy. But you know, it was an award-winning restoration, and this house is certainly restorable. There's no question about that. And the fact that the applicant himself even admits in the paperwork that there's no structural reason to demolish the house should be the end of that. It's a contributing house to the street. We certainly don't need more of those gigantic
towering things that you see springing up like mushrooms. It's a good looking house and needs a little bit of TLC to be sure, but definitely not demolishing it.
Do we have anyone else speaking?
I have a question. How do you determine whether you could demolish the house or not? My coming from New York, a lot of times we don't own the land, but we own the house. But the deplorable condition that our house was in, they told us we couldn't demolish that house because it was historic, 1890. But it cost us a buku of money to restore that house. So I'm just trying to figure out what determines whether you could tear it down versus is rehabilitated.
That's what this board is for. That's what we do.
For Charleston Foundation, staff opposed the demolition of this historic cottage on Shepherd Street. As noted in the application, the structure is considered to be structurally sound. Based on our observations during this morning's site visit and given the successful rehabilitation of a similar cottage at 5 Shepherd Street, we do not believe that demolition is warranted. This cottage contributes to the historic character and architectural fabric of the East Side neighborhood. We recommend that the applicant pursue a rehab of this historic structure and respectfully request that the board deny this demolition request. Thank you.
Laurel Fay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC amplifies the concerns of the ECDC and neighbors and is disappointed to see a baseless demolition request come before this board. This historic cottage was constructed in 1940 by Edward M. Usher, a painter and wallpaper hanger, at a time when the East Side neighborhood was a flourishing, diverse, working-class neighborhood. It still is. This historic cottage retains vernacular features like clapboard siding, a gable vent, and decorative iron porch supports, and is an important survivor on this block, which has seen an incredible amount of demolition and new construction in recent years. We urge the board to deny demolition and for the owner to pursue a sensitive rehabilitation project that restores this historic cottage that contributes to the historic character and scale of the East Side. The PSC has seen cottages along this street in far worse condition restored. 5 and 22 Shepherd Street are 2 recent Carolopolis award-winning examples of what is possible. Thank you.
Anyone else speaking from the public? Okay, Frankie, if you give us the staff comments and recommendations, please.
Okay, staff just has the observations that the existing structure is vernacular cottage, which retains many of its character defining features and form. And that cannot support a full demolition. If the board is to approve demolition as in previous projects, project would need to wait that 30-day appeal period for permit approval. Staff recommendation is a denial as submitted.
Thank you, Frankie. Mr. Shipley, did you want to respond to or clarify anything, Ray, from the public comments? The staff?
I do appreciate the public comments because when I first saw the property, my thoughts were fix it up and make it look real nice. I've done a lot of historical preservations over the years and the client is the one who wants to knock it down. Either way, I have a job. It doesn't look like it's gonna. Getting there, jacking it up, floors level, fixing it up.
Thank you, sir. All right. Public comment and the applicant's presentation is not closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I move for deny. And I really appreciate the neighborhood's input, of course, everyone's input, but I thought that was very well said.
I thought so too. It's a really nice vernacular cottage. We've seen far worse. It's completely restorable.
And it's part of the character of the East Side.
I think we have a motion on the floor for denial as submitted. Do you have a second to Eddie's motion?
I'll second.
Bill, a motion to a vote. Daryl?
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie?
Yeah, in favor.
Bill?
Yeah, in favor.
Majority of the motion passes. Thank you.
I would say that, I mean, you would have the option to possibly come back and if you do additional research, maybe some of the
Did look like it was rambling.
Could come off or something.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah, we need a lot more.
I mean, we'll probably add on to it. So
Yeah.
where he's gonna sell it, I don't know. Thank you.
Agenda item 7, 872 Ashley Avenue. Frankie, if you'll give us review the project, please.
872 Ashley is in Wagner Terrace, Council District 6. It is category 4 in the architecture inventory, circa 1940 demolition district. This project is requesting an opt-in review for demolition of existing exterior elements visible from the public right-of-way and conceptual approval for a proposed addition. This is the property's location on Ashley Avenue. And I will turn it over to the applicant.
Good evening. I'm Abigail Brennan. I'm the architectural designer speaking on behalf of the owners, Joe and Rebecca Miller. This property is a typical lot within Wagner Terrace. One of the primary constraints is a protected grand tree within the buildable area. The images on the right show 872 Ashley Avenue, while the neighborhood homes on the left show the scale, character, and street presence of typical of this neighborhood. The existing structure has undergone alterations over the years, including vinyl windows, aluminum siding and trim, and a metal awning at the front. We are proposing to remove the aluminum siding and restore it to replace in kind with the existing wood siding and trim. The images on the left show the front elevation. We're proposing to remove the metal awning, stairs, railing, and door while restoring the existing entry pediment and trim. The images on the right show the north side entry, which we are proposing to remove. These images show the south side condition. We're proposing to remove the stairs and modify the existing openings for new transom windows. We are replacing the non-historic vinyl windows, which you can see throughout all the photos, but closer on the top left image. The bottom left shows the rear elevation, where the existing window openings will be modified for new doors. And then these photographs once again show the extensive roof deterioration and water intrusion throughout the structure. We are proposing a modest single-story addition in the rear. In response to feedback received at the previous meeting, we eliminated the proposed south side bump out to simplify the overall massing. So you can see that we now have removed that and are letting the original structure breathe a little bit better. We are retaining the corners and primary form of the original house. The left plan identifies areas of visible roof damage, which you saw in some of the photos, which require repair, including one of the areas where a proposed dormer is planned, as you can see. In response to feedback for the previous meeting, we reduced the width of the dormers to create a more modest appearance. As you can see, excuse me. In plan. So you can see that this was the original width of the dormers, and now we are making them shorter. The proposed dormer area that we're modifying is 8% of the historic roof. And then we have exterior elevations. In response to feedback received at the previous meeting, we reduced the width of the dormers to create a more modest appearance. They remain pulled from the roof edges and below the primary ridge line. We also revised the front porch to make it a hip roof, creating a lighter and more subordinate appearance. The rear addition remains clearly secondary to the original structure, with the new roof tucked beneath the existing eave. The side elevation also shows that the lower roof line, which it's highlighted in pink, but it's hard to see, but it occurs right here in the addition with the low roof. And then we have section drawings. And then perspective drawings showing how it's transitioned. Our goal is to preserve the character of the original bungalow while making it functional for a modern family. The addition remains subordinate to the existing structure while creating a more welcoming and engaging presence on Ashley Avenue with the front porch. To conclude, the upper image shows the existing view from Simmons Street, while the proposed overlay on the right illustrates where our new addition and where the existing structure, and it's minimally visible from the public right of way. And then the lower images provide examples of offset massing, roof articulation, and subordinate additions designed around existing site constraints. As you can see, there is a tree right here that they do a bump out around. Obviously, there's a lot of jogging and happening, but it's just part of the nature of the neighborhood and kind of what's so great about it. And so we just feel like it balances preservation, the functionality, while remaining consistent with the scale, character, and development patterns of the Wagner Terrace. Thank you.
Any questions of the applicant?
I have a question.
And the owner, thank you all again for your time. We took y'all's feedback and worked with Abigail over the last month. I think a lot of the changes, I think, addressed the comments that we received last time. Making the dormers, lowering the massing of that front porch roof, eliminating that jog that I think kind of created that obstruction in the existing roof. So we took a lot of that feedback. I think still trying to preserve a lot of the nature of the current house while making it a little more livable for us to move into with our new family. So thank you.
First of all, thank you for excellent submittal. And it's probably in there and I missed it, but can you explain what the new porch you're adding, what the base is? Is it just slabs of wood or is it something else?
It'll be block,
So there'll be,
but
what am I
the
looking
existing
at?
structure.
Well, so when I look at the porch, go to more
the front
elevations, the front porch, what's below the fascia of the basically the trim board, what's underneath that?
It'll be piers, but with wood slats.
So wood slats will be continuous
That'll
across
be
the
what
front.
you will
That's what
see.
that
So
is.
we're
Okay.
playing with a very simple front porch, nothing, not like brick piers or anything that are gonna be visible, just keeping it small, minimal, modest.
Thank you. Just want to clear on that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone speaking?
Utility storage Charleston Foundation. HCF is encouraged by the proposed rehab of this historic structure and appreciate many of the revisions that were made. As noted in our previous comments, HCF continues to recommend the removal of the proposed front porch roof that would significantly alter the building's historic form. Thank you.
Laurel Fay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC is pleased to see the improvements to this design made possible through the opt-in review process. We appreciate the responsiveness of the owners and applicant to our feedback regarding opportunities to draw from neighborhood precedents to inform the design approach. And we look forward to seeing this house receive much needed preservation attention. Thank you.
Everyone else speaking? Frank, you have the rest of these staff comments and recommendations, please.
Staff just have observations for previous board motion, the approved dormer size and proportions have been restudied and the bump out has been eliminated. Staff has no additional comments to have, so we are recommending approval of demolition and conceptual approval with preliminary final review by staff.
Thank you, Frankie. Ms. Brennan, do you want to respond to or clarify anything raised in the public comment or the staff comments? No, that is okay. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote. You did everything we asked.
I think it's improved greatly. The elimination of that bump out on the side has kind of got rid of that really awkward kind of ski slope roof configuration. And I think the hip roof on the porch has helped a lot. I think you've also beefed up the columns on the front porch, it looks like. They're more substantial now. So I think everything's moved in a very positive direction.
I'm in agreement with staff. I don't have any issues.
No, I think it's great.
Daryl, do you want to make a motion?
Make a motion for conceptual approval with preliminary and final by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, so your motion was approval of demolition.
Approval of demolition.
Conceptual approval. Thank you, Daryl, and thank you, Eddie, for the second. Motion to vote. Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie,
Yeah, in favor.
chair votes the majority, and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Agenda item 8 is 4 Henrietta Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction and overview of the project, please.
4 Henrietta Street, Garden District, District 4. That is new construction in the historic district. They are requesting conceptual approval for a new single family home. Turn it over to you.
Thank you. Joel Adrian, Coastal Creek, here to present 4 Henrietta. Your second look at it, it was reviewed back in March and deferred with the request to restudy some of the massing and other items. So we'll just go through and show you previous and then current. That's the current proposed front elevation. Here was our previous site plan that you reviewed. And we had basically just 2 masses. There was a front piece and then this long finger going through the back. We have revised that and created a house that reads, I believe, as three sections as it extends to the rear. There was concern by one of the neighbors about how deep the house was. So when you look here on this current proposed, we've shifted everything forward 8 feet further off of that rear property line to address that comment. We skinnied this thing up and removed that variance request that took us 8 months plus to get so that we could do tandem parking versus parking in front. When we look at this, we are still looking at trying to create the image of a double piazza on the front. We had a single front, quote unquote, front porch on the previous design. You'll see that the house is a little more slender, a little bit longer, but it's definitely still pulled forward. Those cars will park on that left-hand side. One of the concerns was also size, scale, height of the house. The size of the house was taken out about 137 square feet in the overall footprint. I should say footprint, first floor, second floor. And we reduced the height, as you'll see as we get to those elevations, reduced that height by almost 4 feet. Basically taking our first floor from 10 feet to 9 feet, second floor down to 8 feet. Change that roof page to pull it down. We back up our second floor here. You'll see that we've added that piazza on that second floor at the very front. The roof plan is significant change from previous meeting to current. And then we'll get to the sections and elevations. So you can see on the top were the previous and below is the current proposed. When we get to the streetscape elevations, you'll see that we are still in line, I believe, with the other homes. We are taller because we have to meet that design flood elevation. But the other homes don't meet that. To feel like we're pulling, when you see that streetscape, you'll see we're pulling design elements and the character house, I think, from everything that's around it. It's in its context. Go to side elevations. Top is the previous, below is the current proposed. Then the opposite side. So this being the right/east side is the one that sits 3 feet off that property line, so very close to the adjacent house, which sits pretty much right on the property line, so not real visible. Get to streetscapes. So when you're looking at this, that's previous streetscape. You see the height of the house, and then you go to the current. You see now it is roughly the same height as 2 Henrietta, obviously much smaller than what's at 9 Elizabeth. And if the adjacent houses on Henrietta were actually built to flood closer to the height of our proposed structure. I think that with this design, we've addressed the comments that the board had as conditions from that previous meeting. To give you some aerial context, a lot of these houses are long and skinny when you look at the neighborhood as a whole, because this lot here is 24 feet. I think it might be actually 24 feet 6 inches wide. It's got 10-foot required setbacks. So we've got a house that has a maximum 14 and a half feet of total width. And feel like we've done pretty good job. We're trying to break that down so it reads as little single house up front, and there's a small bump, then it goes back and tucks back in. Some more of the context photos. That's it.
Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, Joel, when I'm looking at the front elevation at the piazza screen, am I seeing corbels there? I'm not picking up on them from the south, the west.
Right here.
Yeah.
No, that was, so I can make some corbels there. For that, I need to put some little corbels there and show them on that side. I think as it's drawn, those are just like little pilasters on the side of that door. But there do need to be some little corbels there to hold that roof up.
And the dropping of the piazza door, was that to sort of help with the scale, or is that to be able to fit your run of stairs in?
No, that was so, I'll go back to the floor plan. So previous projects that I've done where we've had houses that have been higher than adjacent houses, the board has typically asked me to try to bring that scale down. And so, you know, I think, go back to our survey, certainly have a little bit of room. We could put that door up and add these 3 risers down here at the front, but felt that it was better to pull that door down a little bit.
Yeah, I understand your logic.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do you have anyone speaking?
Yeah, just give y'all a copy of the, some Sanborn maps I brought. I'm sure you've seen them, but I just wanted to remind everybody what used to be on this lot. Here's the walkway video. My name's Melinda Mitchell. I live across the street at 5 Henrietta Street. And I just want to remind everyone what used to be on this, on these lots. My husband researched the Sanborn maps back to 1885. And yes, there were 2 houses on these 2 lots. The one on this lot was at one point 14 feet wide. At another point, it was 16 feet wide. These were very modest homes. These were 1,000 square foot homes. At some point, there was joint ownership of the 2 lots, and a duplex was built on the lot next door, and the lots were combined for tax reasons. The lot that this house is going to be built on was the parking for the duplex. The lot line was never, they didn't ever abandon the lot line, which is sort of a technicality, but it does allow this owner to treat this as 2 lots instead of 1. He did turn the duplex into a single family. But now what you have is a much larger house than used to exist on either of the 2 lots. And he's now trying to squeeze in another very large house. This lot wasn't even buildable. It's not 2,500 square feet. It's only 2,367 square feet. He had to get a variance just to build. But the architect, I believe from what I've heard, keeps getting the instructions that he has to design a 4-bedroom, 4-bath house. That's not appropriate for the neighborhood. My next door neighbor's house is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. Number 7 Henrietta is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. There's no reason this needs to be a 4-bedroom, 4-bath house. It looks like a rocket ship from the front. From the side, it looks like a billboard. I know that some skinny houses like this have been built in other parts of Charleston, but this is the old and historic district. This is an area that is most important. And this is just an abomination being built like this on this lot. Also, because the duplex no longer has parking, we're not going to have 4 new cars on the street. I know they can only get 2 permits, but they'll probably get guest parking passes. So we're going to have 4 new cars already on our street. And now with another 4-bedroom, 4-bath house, there's no place for anybody to park on our street. This used to be the driveway for the house next door. If you give them a variance to build, fine, but they should be building a tiny 1 or 2 bedroom house.
Have anyone else? Hold on.
Each utility storage Charleston Foundation, HCF has reviews the proposed drawings for a new single-family dwelling at 4 Henrietta. Unable to support the project as currently proposed, given the relatively narrow lot, the building's not being excessive. Reduction in the overall map will help with more appropriate relationship to the site and better reflect the established pattern, development pattern in the area. HCF respectfully requests deferral to allow for further study of the scale and mass. Okay.
Laurel Fay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC did not comment on the previous iteration of this design, and although we appreciate that the applicant has adjusted the height and massing to respond to board feedback from the previous meeting, this has resulted in an overly vertical and oddly proportioned design that is incompatible with the surrounding streetscape. We ask that this design be restudied to rectify this condition. Thank you.
Is there anyone else speaking from the public? Frankie, if you'll give us some detailed comments and recommendations, please.
All right, so staff had some observations. South facade does feel very narrow. Two-story porch contributes to this by removing mass from that front facade. We would prefer to see a better composition on the west facade. Our principle for new construction refers to the frequency and size of windows being a significant visual characteristic, and there should be a repetitive rhythm horizontally. Do you think that the parking issue, at least on this particular lot, has been addressed as he's provided tandem parking spots? While the front facade does feel awkward proportionally and orthographic, and the bleak rendering might help present this better. Joel, are you not using any variants or not the lot width?
No variance on this. We did receive, so no variance to the setbacks. We did receive approval from BZA to construct a single family house out of non-conforming lot.
So since, and it looks like Rachel removed my comment. Since the property has received a variance, BER can review the entire proposal regardless of the visibility from the public right of way. And I do have that ordinance reference. That being said, the previous board motion has been addressed. So the staff recommendation is a conceptual approval with preliminary and final review by staff.
Thank you, Frankie. Joel, did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
Yes, I will. Thank you for the time, and I'll do my best to be quick. I'll go back the other way. Thank you. So the first person that spoke, I guess I'm confused as to the parking issues. I know that's not your purview, but you know, there was a duplex next door to it as a single family residence. Just because this lot was used for parking doesn't mean that it has to remain parking. We're providing the required parking for the structure that we're proposing. Did not increase the square footage at number 2. The house that we're proposing is 1,800 feet. When we did our presentations to zoning board at previous meetings, we had documentation that showed the square footages of the houses around, and this house is appropriate in this neighborhood. When you look at, she may have cited the small houses on her side of the street of Henrietta, but when you look at the other houses, the house at 6, the house at 10, you look at the houses on Elizabeth Street, this neighborhood is not sitting with a bunch of houses that are 1,000 square feet. We have a lot that has a TMS number that is allowed to be built on, and I think that, you know, we took the board's comments from that first review of this. We reduced height, we reduced the width, and I'm certainly willing to restudy Piazza and then if we need to. But I think that the house again takes its cues from the neighborhood as far as the detail.
Thank you. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
Really difficult. The big positive that's come about is the front yard is no longer a parking lot. The parking has been put on the side. However, what that has done is it's altered the proportions of the front of the house. And it is very vertical. It's not so much the height for me, but because of the narrowness of the lot, it's the vertical proportions that I think are a problem. I don't know if you're gonna perceive the depth of it that much from the street. I don't know. But to me, it's all about the proportions. More or less.
Well, I'll add on to that, and I wasn't here last time, so I don't wanna go against what the board said before. I think changing the footprint to get the tandem parking is a very good move. And I appreciate the height, but I think the approach of trying to have a little side porch, I would not call that a piazza, because this is not a piazza. It's not even 4 feet, barely 4 feet wide. I think you've got a room that's 7 feet wide and a porch that's a little over 4 feet. That's just too narrow for that whole approach to work to me. I think you can get it to work. But I think there are lots of skinny houses all over town. There's one, what is that? Wentworth, right next to the fire station, tiny little house. There's one in Lower King, almost to South Battery. But they don't have side porches. They're just, they work. It's a very simple form. And I think when you try to add a side porch, it just, 7 feet tall, 20-something feet high, it's just not, I just don't think it's gonna work. So I think, to me, and I don't want to go against what the board said, so I'm trying to be sensitive, but those proportions, I think they're not gonna feel very good on the street. I do like how you handled the stairs, breaking them up. Part of it's inside and part of it's outside, but to me, I just get rid of the porch and have it just get those proportions right and keep it really simple. And I appreciate what the neighbor said. We don't get into how big the houses can be. That length, it's gonna be long. It's not right up on the street, but I do think there are ways to get that facade to look a little less long. I don't have any great suggestions, but saw you added the gable in there. Maybe it's just the way the windows are still a little bit inconsistent, maybe. I could see that facade cleaning up a little bit. To me, the biggest issue is just that front. I think you're trying to get a porch to work, and it's not a porch. It's not big enough to be wide. If you just put porches that don't work. So I'm having trouble with approving.
I tend to agree. I think maybe you do just lose the porch. I think that would help with the proportions. I think also maybe you play with the roof more. Sometimes hip roofs, in my eye, help with vertical proportions instead of gable roofs. So I think there's a way to make this work. It just needs some more massage, some more massage into it.
And I do appreciate how simple you're keeping it. Straightforward, 2 over 2 windows. Everything's very simple. I don't think you need to get. It's a tough site. I really appreciate that, but this simple approach is the way to go, and maybe that's all it is. You lose the porch and just have just 2 windows over and door, window.
So it sounds like a deferral, restudy.
I think so.
Bill, would you want to make that motion?
I'd like to make a motion for deferral for restudy, particularly for the vertical proportions.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for deferral for restudy of vertical proportions. Do I have a second to Bill's motion?
I'll second.
Oh, wait, does it?
I did, but you can do it. Won't you?
I'll give it to Daryl. All right, I'll put the motion to a vote. Eddie?
In favor.
Bill?
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl?
In favor.
Your vote's the majority and the motion passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 9 is 3 Savage Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction over the project.
3 Savage Street, Charlestown, Council District 8. It is not surveyed circa 1890 in the old historic district, requesting an conceptual approval to elevate the building site and fenestration alteration. Property's location on Savage, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
Good evening, Sebastian Von Marshall, I'm the architect, working on behalf of the owner who's here this evening. For conceptual review of the proposed renovation, 3 South Street, the board will remember that this project was reviewed at the April 23rd meeting. And you'll remember the house is a former carriage house dependency for a different structure that backs up to. You can see here in the old Sanborn maps. I'm not going to spend too much time rehashing this, but you can see on Rutledge Avenue, there was an early 20th century house here, and then the carriage house beyond that. You can see some aerial images, some site and context pictures of adjacent structures, the house itself. Up now, of course, the front door edicule, which I think was sort of the crux of our conversation with the last review. Some more pictures, some images, and then you'll see our previously approved and proposed site plan, which immediately kind of shows the major modifications that we had discussed and that I think address the majority of the board and the staff's comments and concerns from the last review, namely the location of the front door and the treatment of the historic front door material. You can see the site here. One thing that was discussed was the amount of space, and in a further study, we determined that there was sufficient room to add a stair on the front of the house, which allowed us to solve a lot of the other issues that had come up during the previous meeting. So here you can see the height comparison of our proposed structure, which even elevated is well below the adjacent buildings. Previously approved ground floor, revised ground floor. You can see the stairs on the front of the structure there. Previously approved or previously reviewed. I'm sorry. First floor, first elevated stairs. I'm really going to skip through this to get to the elevations because they're telling part of this. So this was the previously reviewed version of the proposed scheme. We had talked about relocating the original front door over to the side facing Savage Street and replacing it with a door on the south side there, a new door. And the proposed version keeps the existing historic door in its location on the house. And then when the house is elevated, stairs and this front stoop would be added to handle the vertical change, which avoided the complexities of an internal stair. It also allowed the preservation of the historic material on that side of the house and the door edicule, and it helped to reinforce the narrative of the evolution of the house through this renovation and elevation. So I think this is probably the best elevation, but I'm going to quickly flip to some others. Previously reviewed, you can see where that edicule had been moved aside, and now we're proposing to put a different door, a new sort of side door there that's sort of compatible, but not necessarily not competing with the original. The rear elevation, we're still proposing a door on the north side that would just be access to the area below the house in that elevated space with the door and the window and the stairwell above. And then that was previous. And then you can see proposed. The only thing that really changes is the edicule has now left the side facing Savage and we replaced it with a little shed roof over that new door. And then the other side elevation showing the stair and the transition to grade from the elevated floor. We have letters of support from the neighbors. Those were, I think, added to the record at the last meeting. And we did share our revised drawings with the preservation groups as well. And I think we're generally very comfortable with the direction it's going. So I welcome any comments and I thank you for your time.
Questions?
Can you help me understand, Sebastian, where it's being moved? I didn't really understand the change.
Yes, sorry. Let me quickly back up to our site plan. So this did go through the BZA, and the house currently sits very tight to the north property line. And because of the elevation and the impact that we appreciate that has on the surrounding structures and frankly other concerns as well, we decided, or the proposal is to shift the building south to meet the north setback zoning requirement. Now, this lot is extremely challenging, so there was pretty much no way to have this structure meet all the setbacks. But we figured that we would try to help it meet at least 2 setbacks, north, south. And that also gives relief to the neighbor on the north because the structure is coming up and the obvious impact of the mass.
It also helps with some issues like drainage and just buffering.
I went out there today, there's a big tree right there. Is it you're gonna have to cut the tree?
No, we don't
You're
really
able
cut
to
any
move
large
around
trees.
it? Okay. Thank you, I just pick up that.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Do we have anyone speaking?
Laurel Fay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC appreciates the applicant's responsiveness to our previous comments by restudying the design in keeping with the city's design guidelines for elevating historic buildings. The revised approach allows the evolution of this building to read clearly while enhancing the resilience of this historic property, and we are pleased to offer our support. Thank you.
Anyone else speaking? Okay, Frankie, you can give us detailed comments and recommendations, please.
Staff just have the observations that previous board motion and comments have been addressed, and staff has no additional comments. Staff recommendation is conceptual approval with preliminary and final review by staff.
Thank you, Frankie. Sebastian, did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
No, thank you.
Public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
He's addressed all of the board's concerns. I've mentioned this last time, but I really like your trick that you're doing, bringing the siding down onto the foundation. That really helps a lot with the scale of that foundation wall. My only thought is, and I don't, it's just a thought, is that you maybe just kind of continue to sort of see if there's any way to make the front walls of the stairs a little lighter or something. Yeah, maybe, I don't know if you had some relief in there or something, but I think overall it's very good.
I've got nothing to add.
I wasn't there last time, so I don't know. I actually liked your design before better, except for the fact that you were taking out the historic door. Because this is a very modest house, raise it, giant stair. I don't know if it's going to change the character. Went wherever he is, he's over there somewhere. But I appreciate the challenge. It's difficult. It's just a quirky little building, and I just raising it. You got to have stairs. There are going to be these brick stairs. They're going to have this wrought iron rail. There's wrought iron. Kind of have to do that with brick, but it's not really appropriate to the house. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. Maybe I should just be quiet. But everything else I don't have any issue with. It's going to really feel different with that big stair. I mean, that is a big double stair. Did you look at, I guess you wanted to stay symmetrical.
It was to stay symmetrical and also to prevent it from protruding too far south because we still have to keep those two cars off the property.
Yeah, okay.
Squeezed driveway out.
Just didn't know if you had a single stair that wrapped or something. But if the board gave direction before, I don't want to have him go in circles. So anyway, appreciate the explanation.
Bill, do you want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion for, we have some conceptual.
Yeah.
Conceptual approval with board discussion regarding the stairs, looking at a way to lighten the appearance of them, and with preliminary and final review by staff.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor for conceptual approval, taking into account board discussion to consider lightening the appearance of the stairs, excuse me, with preliminary and final review by staff. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Carol? Vote. Eddie?
Yay in favor.
Bill?
Yeah, in favor.
Carol?
Yeah, in favor.
Chair votes for the majority of the motion passed unanimously. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Agenda item 10, 190 Line Street. Frankie, can you give us an introduction over the project?
190 Line Street and West Side. It's not the J.E. Demolition District. The board has previously denied after the fact demolition of the structure, so they are looking for approval for the reconstruction of the previous structure per the board's last week. This is the location on Ninth Street. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hello, I'm Amber Ahmet and I am representing the owner at 190 Lime Street. I'll start by saying I was approached in April to take on the reconstruction of this structure. I was really reluctant to do so, given this storied past. However, meeting with the new owner, I felt this parcel finally had a good steward, one who was committed to replacing the cottage as it stood. And that was a project I was very much interested in and lucky to be attached to. So on C1, these are images taken before the structure was lost. Here are Sanborn maps that South Carolina Reading Room researchers helped me find. You can see that there was quite an evolution of footprint over the span of the structure. From 1902 to 1973, it really grew in form, but what always remained present was the gable facing the street and the side piazza. And that was present in the last batch of photos that we have on record as well. So that is what we are aiming to reconstruct. Here is a submittal timeline, both pending and previous board hearings. So you can see those decisions. Again, I was approached in April, so shortly after the last time this was before the board, where that decision was denial based on an insufficient submittal. The proposed submittal strategy presently is to recreate the footprint based on the Sanborn maps and to utilize the inventory from the SOS survey, where there was a very impressive documentation of materials and massing. The fenestration along the piazza was boarded up before the structure was lost. So these locations are speculative and made on the basis of rhythm and repetition between the column bays. And then the remaining comments from previous hearings have been addressed to my best ability. So here is that extensive inventory done by SOS Charleston. This was really crucial in how I approached reconstructing this structure. It was really prescriptive. I mean, the work was done for me, really. And then they also had some additional photographs that helped support that documentation. Here is the last survey that I found available. And then the proposed site plan, this is a reconstruction of what the previous owner deemed the original footprint, or rather the last structure that was on the site. Because the structure is gone, I can't verify that, but based on the photographs, it looks to be roughly accurate. And there was a paved driveway that I would like to propose be pervious. Here is a proposed foundation plan. As it needs to be FEMA compliant, it'll have to be lifted. So you can see here piers with breakaway stucco walls, and then flood vents as required. The piers along the piazza would have louvers between the piers, but I think board really cares for the flush breakaway walls so that the stucco can read as continuous. So that heated perimeter will read as continuous. And then first floor plan, again, as it's lifted, we have to take some entry stairs into consideration and to keep those out of the public right of way. We've actually recessed that piazza to make room for them. And you can see that column articulation with the fenestration fitting within those bays. The roof plan, returning standing seam, and then also that atypical clipped roof at the front and back. So That will be resurrected. And then the chimney, there is a chimney in the photographs, but I can't find its exact location in previous plan sets. So the location of this is roughly where it is in the photographs, and it's really to benefit the plan. So it's close, but I can't verify that it's exact. Front and side elevations, again, like the SOS inventory really did all the work for me. All of the materials called out were derived strictly from their inventory list. In speaking with staff, I did ask if we should go back with just a pair of double hung windows on that front gable where it faces the street. That would be far more typical of this typology. But board felt that because the motion is to reconstruct the structure as it was, that we should reinstall a picture window. The picture window as presented is based on aligning with the rail divider of the two adjacent double hung windows. The same logic in terms of like recreating this in an as-is condition. That beaver tail detail that you see at the gable end is not something we see very commonly. So I did ask if we should continue lap siding, but board felt, again, leave it as it was. So that's present here as well. Some questions before and previous submittals were what the stair materials were. I'm proposing wood, both tread and riser, simple rail and picket that would then continue onto the piazza. The piazza screening had a unique detail. It's a 4-inch width with a nickel gap shiplap. And then I picked that up at the rear piazza for that mechanical closet, just so there would be some continuity between the two. And then rear and side elevation. The side elevation windows were boarded up in the photographs. So I can't determine with certainty the size and location of them, but this is supported per plan. There were 3 present before it was lost. There are 3 here now, albeit not in the exact location. And then some details for wood windows. And then my prescription for what the driveway material should be. And with that, I will yield.
I have a few. One you've already sort of touched on about express piers in the foundation, so you'll be eliminating.
Yeah, that's more for
revising
me to
drawings
keep
for
track of where they are.
Okay, so you'll revise that for.
Yes, I will remove those vertical lines.
Regarding the picture window, I suspect it probably didn't originally have a picture window. It probably had a pair of windows. I would not object it to going back to the pair of windows.
Okay.
The piazza screen wall, do you think it always had a sloped parapet like that, or is it typically level?
So you can see here, it does look like it has a decent slope to it.
I don't know if that was a later
Sure.
alteration. It's just a little unusual.
Right.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah,
Well, the bottom, on the front, it might just be the way the photo looks, but this one, it
It
doesn't look
does,
as.
you're right. That second row right hand.
Right below it, actually, so.
I think probably.
Okay.
I have a couple questions too. So you don't need breakaway walls if it's just in an AE zone. It's not in a V zone.
So then we would just have continuous stucco.
Yeah, I didn't realize, that was gonna be one of my comments. This is a comment for the board. Did the board say to push the piazza back from the original? Because it was originally 8 inches off the facade. Is that something the board said before?
I think this is the first time we might have
Okay.
a complete application, and so every time we've said that.
You're piecing it all together. I
That's
get
right.
it.
Every
Okay.
time we've said come back.
I can help a little bit, Eddie. It was not something the board got that
Far
Far
into,
enough in.
okay.
Amber did talk to us about it and we said, you know, so that was sort of a speculative thing. I don't really.
Okay,
Haven't.
okay. That's all I'm just curious. And what? Go against the board.
cleanup person.
Yes, just coming in and saying it. Okay, I got it.
All we've said is just build it back.
Okay, good enough.
Any other questions?
The roof, it says standing seam, does it have to be hand crimped or can standing seam?
Yeah, we usually say hand cramp with no ridge caps for like the turn downs on the front would have crimped.
Correct. I think it would be really odd looking to have a ridge cap with the way that it's clipped on the front.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking?
Laurel Bay with the Preservation Society of Charleston. The PSC appreciated the applicant reaching out to us about this project. We are pleased to offer our support for the reconstruction of the historic circa 1890s Freeman Cottage that was tragically lost on this site. The PSC commends the new property owner and project team for their efforts to ensure the most faithful reconstruction possible. Thank you.
Anyone else speaking? Frankie, if you give us these staff comments.
Staff have the observation that we appreciate the attention to detail in the new submittal package and believe that the current submittal accurately reflects the previous structure while meeting the code requirements for elevation. Since this was a code case, we would need the board motion to include a timeline for submittal of permit documents. Nothing to do with Amber or current owners. That's just standard practice as of how this all started. And so I wrote this very carefully and I think I've got this right. Staff recommendation for the motion is a denial of after the fact demolition, but approval of drawings for reconstruction with staff condition.
Did you want to respond to or clarify anything in the public comment or staff comments?
Explain to me the timeline of submittal.
We have been told that whenever we have a case that has a code case component, the board has to set a timeline and it's whatever they deem necessary for a new submittal to come back. It feels kind of silly to do in this case, but
we don't have to see back though.
no, I mean like for submittal of the permit or whatever her next step is.
It doesn't rest in limbo.
Right. That's it.
All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and vote.
I have one more question. I'm looking at your window details. Your details look like they're insulated windows. You're not doing insulated.
I'm not doing insulated windows, although for my own edification, if it's new construction and it's north of line, I notice it's on the north side of line, would they be allowed?
I think in this case.
No. Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to know.
And it looks like you're using a 3-inch sill.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, look on the elevation, they look a little thin, but as long as they're on the section.
Well, I've got a couple of comments. So I think it would be better to show the piazza where it was, you know, the screen 8 inches or so off the front facade. And I think the stair could be mitigated as part of the piazza, right? It goes up and maybe looks like you can come forward to the house 2 or 3 steps and then you could go up into the piazza, the rest. I know you know how to do that. And also it may require shifting the entry door a little bit towards the back, which would then center it on the columns. So that's an easy thing to me. I think the piers, it was good to hear that where there's no porch, there won't be piers. I think it should just be solid stucco. Otherwise it looks like a beach house. Just make it solid. On the porch side though, I think those piers should be a little wider. They're really narrow. And I would prefer, you know, just any of the kind of lattice we see on our historic houses, you know, either vertical 2x2s or hatching vertical or, you know, diagonal, but not the slats. That's not as common. It feels like Sullivan's to me. And so it's easy. I know you can easily handle that. Those are my design comments. I think the drawings look great. you're saving the day here. I would also vote for, we're gonna go to all this trouble and you put this really terrible picture window in the front. And I would be in support of just 2 windows, just like you've got them 2/2 spaced nicely, which I know you'll figure out. Oh, last thing. You've kind of got the standard issue aluminum vents. That's fine, but not on the front. You might be able to get away with not having them.
I think I can.
If you don't have to have them, then don't do any, but if you do, then maybe that's a little wooden something, you know what to do, so. Anyway, those are my comments. And I'd be comfortable with that, being have a code staff.
Sounds like you've been emotional.
Did you make
Yeah.
a motion?
Yes, can I just say board comments?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
denial of after the fact demolition and conceptual approval with board comments for reconstruction with staff conditions. Move to that.
Did we need to put a timeline?
You don't have to, I just have to make that recommendation.
Okay. Should I ask the applicant? What would be a, right? What would be a reasonable
I think the new owner is ready to move forward.
Okay.
So, you know, within the year, this will be hopefully permitted by DLR.
Okay, so we have. We have a motion on the floor for denial of after the fact demolition and conceptual approval of the drawings submitted with board conditions for reconstruction and staff condition and preliminary and final review by staff. Do you have a second?
I'll say. Bill.
Roll. First, put the motion to a vote. Bill,
Yay in favor?
Betty,
Yeah, in favor.
Yeah, in favor.
your favorite majority, and the motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for taking this on. Yeah.
Um,
That's the first time I saw it, so it bothered me.
Agenda item 11 is 6 Atlantic Street. You'll give us the introduction and overview of the project, please.
Hello.
We wanted to introduce you, this is 6 Atlantic in Charleston, Council District 8. It is category 3, circa 1830 in the Old Historic District. They're requesting conceptual approval for renovation and addition to rear structure. Project location on Atlantic. I will turn it over to the applicant.
Yes.
Who's gonna go first? Well, just a little bit of background. So we did get approval from BZA for a hardship of insufficient kitchen, real, you know, so if you look at the plan of this house, it doesn't really have a kitchen that is, you know, commensurate to a house of this size. But that was in December. And then 6 weeks ago or so, we presented basically the full program that the client wanted. And this is essentially represented here on the front page, which included the new kitchen. There's also this pantry area, which was commented on, and you know, during the review. So these two elevations show the revised in response to the last BAR review, where we basically removed the porch enclosure pantry area. And also we're trying to make the building, the original building was there for a long time. It's on the Sanborn maps from 1888. It is probably, it has been worked on. It's not a pristine building, but its scale, and that's been commented by the Historic Society and other people, is basically what it was. And so there was comments to, you know, try to preserve that profile, and not so that even looking at the new building, you could start to see, you know, the historic condition that existed there. this is, the site and. These are views from various places. The basic premise, or it's not a premise, it's what you really experience when I went there and looked at it, and I did it more than once, is that from Atlantic Street, it's really negligible what you would see. I mean, I took a telephoto in one of the pictures and, you can see something. So what I'm getting at is that, from the street, a casual view, there's not really going to be much visibility of that. From Zigzag Alley on the backside, I'm going to back here. So if you go here, though, here you don't see anything. Here, from this view, this little back area right there, you see a little bit of the side wall. And that wall will be a little bit bigger than it was before. So these are more views of that, just so this is the lot coverage. Here's another one of these. Okay, so this was the original condition. This is the two-story wood structure. This is the masonry annex, the original to this building, and this is the wraparound porch. In the original proposal, we had this area here that enclosed a portion of the porch. We are removing that right now. This shows the portion of the back building that we're expanding out to make a kitchen. This is showing the same thing with reflected ceiling plan. And so this shows now again, kind of the new condition where that's the ceiling of the thing. This is the ceiling of the porch. That's the ceiling of the pass-through here. Again, the porch is open. This is the addition. This is the existing masonry. And this is just showing in comparison, just straight across. So this is the existing open, the porch, existing wood two structure, existing brick annex. This is what we had. This is how much area we were adding. This is the pantry area. We've taken this away. This is all now just being restored as is. We're not doing nothing, all we're doing is stucco window, everything that's there is being restored. And we're making one move, and that is moving that wall over to enlarge that space. This is the roof situation. So this is the original. Again, two-story annex has a low slope roof. This has a low slope roof. This is the wraparound porch. This was our proposal. This is the part that's disappearing because that had a lower roof that slipped under. We were trying to make a nice relationship with the porch. And then this is what we have now. So this building is separate. It has a kind of a gap here from the original building. So this is the elevations in order. So this is the west elevation. This is the elevation most affected. So here you see the original condition. The height and the width of this does not change. We also maintain this little top piece in the corners. It's kind of a nice detail. I think of it as a detail characteristic of modest wood structures. It sort of has just a small tight band that creates that rain drip. This was our previous proposal with the pantry connecting to this here, taking this away. So now you see the full height and wall of the masonry structure. The porch is clear. And then this building just remains, the profile and all that remains the same, has a new elevation for the new kitchen. These are repeats because they were plans. So these are elevations showing again the same thing with some color on them. And there's a picture there showing. So that was what we had. And this is what we now are proposing. So you can see this structure is being renovated currently. Owners putting a lot of money into making this you know, the columns and the ceiling and all that, right? And so now, you know, this is standing on its own, kind of as it was before. It has a new elevation because there's a new kitchen in there. This is the north elevation. So this is the way it was. This is without, there's a wall in front of all that. But just for clarity, you can see everything. This is the expansion, so it's basically expanding in kind. You're just taking the same materials and wall moving over. This is sort of how it will be. Sorry, well, and then the east elevation, I drew the whole thing just to show it. So this basically, nothing really changes. We're restoring this essentially, but it remains exactly as it is. We're not changing its design. And this shows that's being restored, just the stucco and all that, but nothing's really changed. And this is a view that I created. It's accurate in just showing from the gate what you would see. And it is important that we do have its existing screen on the porch, which we are going to keep and actually restore. And it does provide a real screen to the back, but it's there. So, and that's
Any questions from the applicant?
You know, one, your addition, the flat roof portion, how are you draining that roof?
I think we're going to drain it to the back.
Are you?
It'll be flat roof, sloped cord trusses.
Okay, so you'll have what
There's probably going to be a drain, that's right.
There'll be a parapet, maybe a scupper.
And I think we're going to do a through wall scupper.
Through wall.
Yes. That'll probably be on the north side.
Okay.
Because then the draining will be on the property.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do we have anyone speaking from the public? If you give us any staff comments and recommendations.
I've just had some observations. And I will apologize to the board because I was reading on my notes earlier and I misspoke. It's category 2, not category 3. My apologies. Massing of addition has not been restudied as per the staff condition, which was adopted, but a hyphen has been added as per board recommendation. Piazza enclosure has been removed from the request. The rearmost addition is still demolishing the facade of the existing, which dates to 1888 per Sanborn maps, and has existed with these dimensions since then. And since the property received a variance, you can review the entire proposal regardless of visibility from public right away. And I do have my ordinance there. Staff recommendation is a deferral for restudy as not all of the previous board discussion and motions were met, but I'm really just was trying not to go against the previous board motion. So I will leave it up to you to determine if it meets your previous motion and requirement.
Thank you, Frankie. Did you want to respond to or clarify anything raised in the city staff comment?
I'm not sure about I looked at the comments, I listened to the YouTube thing. And it seemed to me, I remember some of them, where the pantry was said to be, blurring the relationship between the existing masonry structure and the profile of the what's visible on the 1888 Sanborn map. And a lot of the other comments all really kind of focused on, well, they had their reason, why it's not working with that porch enclosure. There was also comments that, the porch enclosure isn't a great idea. So we addressed all those. That were really, and then the change, on the back, for instance, nothing's changing. We're just restoring it. On the north side, it's just being extended. So that's the change, but you know, it's the same materials and all that. And really the wall and the big change is the west wall, which is being moved. But it's also has a new elevation on it, but there were, during the AAR review, the last one, there were no comments on the elevation. They didn't say, we study it, you know, we don't like the way it looks. So that's why it's the same.
Thank you. Right, public comment to the applicant presentation is now closed. Moving to more discussion and vote.
I think eliminating the porch enclosure and then that adjacent outside of porch extension has helped tremendously. The addition, when I look at that facade, that I guess that's the well, the facade that faces into the yard at the west elevation. A lot, it looks like a lot of the siding has been replaced, and from what I could tell, just zooming in on my bigger screen at home, it looked like the windows had been replaced, that maybe that they have jams in them. And I think the door is not original. So I think that I'm not so much opposed to doing an expansion off of that facade. It's just, I think it still needs, and I think it still needs some differentiation, some sort of a break between the existing mass, historic mass, and then the new. And it might be so much as going on the back elevation. Yeah, on the north side. And at a minimum, at very minimum, and introduce a corner board, but I think you could also maybe introduce like some sort of a slot or something in there. Maybe that's where you stick your downspout, your scupper. I don't know, a little tiny hyphen or something. But I think, and then another thing, maybe you vary the siding. Maybe you pick a smaller siding profile with a newer part, and then the older part maintains its existing profile. So I think there's some kind of simple things that could be done to kind of help that along. What do you guys think?
Well, I went out there today and you gotta really look hard to see this. I didn't have a telescopic lens.
What's that?
I did not have a telescopic lens, but it was very difficult to see. And I know zoning, a variance gives us purview, but I think that's more appropriate if there's a demolition or something major that we wouldn't otherwise have purview over. To me, how does this affect the public right of way? It doesn't really. So I guess my question, and I think y'all have already discussed it, is that one facade that you say you're moving a bit, you're really kind of taking it down. Is that historic? And I can't really tell. It looks like the first floor penetration is not historic from what I can tell. You just said. So that gives me, and I don't think the preservation groups, they've already left, they even here. So the fact that they're not up in arms, then I'm very comfortable with it. I think the design looks great, so I have no issues. And I disagree, Bill. I don't think you need a hyphen.
Yeah.
It's stucco with wood. I mean, that's clearly differentiated. Again, on that one side, you could maybe see, you can see it from zigzag, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't have any comments. I think it looks great, and it sounds like he responded, which I said last time. So
I'm happy with the removal of the porch enclosure.
yeah, that sounds like that was a big deal.
That was the big deal.
Yeah. So I'll move for approval as submitted. And what are we at?
Conceptual approval.
Conceptual with final to staff.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for conceptual approval, with final review by staff. Do I have a second to Eddie's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Daryl. Motion to vote, Bill,
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie,
Yeah, okay.
Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
chair votes majority, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 1289 and a half Ashley Avenue. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction over the project, please.
Avenue, it's in Charleston Village, Council District 8. It is category 2, circa 1883 in the Old Historic District, requesting final approval essentially for a material change to second floor balcony of rear carriage house. This is property's location on Ashley, and I will turn this over to the applicant.
Here, I am Laura Altman, fellow with Architecture. I'm representing Mary Howell at 89.5 Ashley. This project is the rear building to 89 Ashley, positioned there to the west. And the part that we're talking about is really this porch, which is a one-story porch with a second floor open deck. Both buildings, according to the BAR architectural inventory, this was built in 1838, the main house. And both buildings appear on the 1852 Bridgens Allen map, which leads us to believe this was a dependency for that original, the main house built at the same time. The 1902 Sanborn map lists the house as a dwelling with a porch. That same porch appears on the 1929, 1944, and 1951 maps, but it does not appear on the 1955, 1967, and 1973. There is evidence at the interior that the original porch was actually a cantilevered awning or deck of some sort, because those original, the interior portion of the joists are still in place. So that original porch was demolished sometime between 1951 and 55, and the existing porch was likely constructed in the 1980s or later. The renovation of 89.5 Ashley is already underway, with prior BAR staff approvals for in-kind repairs. There are no additions, no modifications proposed. So today I'm just here to talk about the Aridus porch material. I'm going to go back for just a second, because I think the pictures are really the best place to focus. We are talking about the decking that is at the second floor level. It is existing. The whole porch was built with modern treated lumber, just treated tongue and groove porch decking that has deteriorated. Because we all know that treated wood deteriorates over time, especially when there's not a roof or any sort of protection, and it's in a particularly shady lot. Aridus is a double-sided material that I believe is a very good in-kind replacement. It's dimensionally stable, paintable, and has an authentic appearance. So I have a sample so you can see the profile of the material. There are no grooves on the bottom. Southern lumber, the treated wood has the groove on the bottom. So this, when it comes straight out to the end, will look fine. I'm not picture framing it or anything because I don't need to. So it essentially mimics the treated wood and the ipe. The ipe doesn't usually have the grooves underneath. It's exactly the same size. So it has been used. I used it at 17 Trumbo, which was a new construction, granted, built in 2019 and has good visibility from the public right of way. This particular aspect or location for the material is set 70 feet back from the sidewalk. And because of the garden wall at the main house and the elevation change, because there's a ramp up into the yard wall, it's minimally visible. So I feel this is a better solution long-term for a product that will be durable and last and still look historically accurate. I think that's everything I have. Do you have any questions?
I do. I guess this comes in an integral color.
They have
What color
options for the
are you
integral
proposing?
color.
Yeah.
Or painted. I
Are you
prefer
gonna
to do
paint
the painted because I'm afraid of what happens during the construction process, and I'd rather put it down, paint at the last minute. And then we can paint it the typical, kind of battleship gray color or whatever, and get approval from CR as needed.
And Laura, I think it's very helpful that this porch, you think dates to the 1980s. Do you have any photos in your pack? I didn't see any that kind of show that.
That show the
The porch itself was,
treated wood.
yeah. There, I just didn't see it. That makes a big difference to me.
It's all treated wood and,
That's why.
And modern dimensional lumber.
modern dimensional lumber. And just that it's not on the Sanborn maps.
Yeah, that's what I was just
When
looking
I
at.
did some
Yeah.
early research on this project when I was first starting, I looked at the BAR file and I thought I found, the 1980s
Okay.
application, but then I don't have it in my
Okay.
saved files. So,
Okay.
um,
I mean, just looking
so
at
we
it,
know that it's modern dimensional
Okay.
lumber, just 2x12s and all. And then, the original big joists are still inside
okay,
and definitely not coming through.
okay, thank you.
Cantilevered anymore or anything.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking to the public? Okay, Frankie, you could give us any staff comments and recommendations.
Observation, that request is for composite material on the house balcony. Staff can't consider a composite material to be a replacement in kind. And while minimally visible, it is visible, unfortunately, from the right of way. Did check, we were going to sign off on it. It was not visible. And some elements, as Laura was saying, have already been approved, have already been handled with staff as they were either not visible or a true replacement in kind.
We're only looking at the. Did you want to respond to or clarify anything?
I guess I will point out one thing that was in the brochure from Eritas is that this product has been approved in a lot of states for in-kind replacement per their brochure. So again, I feel like it's a good replacement that is a better product in the long run. It will be more durable. So
Thank you. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. I'll move into board discussion and a vote.
I don't really have an issue with it. If you put treated lumber up there, it's gonna cup. I mean, when you put it on a cover piazza, it cups, it's gonna cup really bad on that, so I don't really have an issue. Once it's painted and the distance back from the street, I don't see an issue.
I think if this was a historic piazza and they were taking, which again is still problematic, putting treated wood, like T-pay or something. But in kind is the way to go if it was historic in its repair. But this is not historic. And so, and also I did go by, I mean, I would not know the difference. I mean, it's far away and it's this much,
Yeah,
So I'm comfortable with it. I mean, materials are a big deal, but in this case, it makes sense.
I'm good with it.
The motion? Daryl?
Make a motion for approval as submitted.
So final approval is what we
Yeah.
just give final approval. Daryl, did you make a motion for final approval?
I sure did.
Second.
Thank you. Second. Motion to vote. Bill?
Yeah, in favor?
Daryl?
In favor.
Eddie?
Yeah, in favor.
Chair votes the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Did this get to the permitting department or do I need to coordinate?
I'll ask for the extra step to be added.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Agenda item 13, 241 Cummings Street. Frankie, if you give us an introduction and overview of the project, please.
.241 Cummings Street is in Canberra, LA Borough, Council District 6. It is Category 4, circa 1890 in the Old City District, requesting an appeal of staff decision for fiberglass. This is the property's location on Cummings Street, and I will turn it over to you.
Good evening. I am Merrill Lorraine Primus Brown of 241 Cummings Street. I'm requesting that you allow me to retain the permacast columns installed at 241 Cummings Street. We were unaware that the permacast fiberglass column was viewed negatively for use in older houses. We have used fiberglass columns for replacement because the wooden columns had rotted and had to be replaced. We have found the fiberglass column to be an affordable, reliable option that preserves the home's facade while maintaining an aesthetically pleasing historical character. Affordability is of essence, and fiberglass is less costly and more efficient than cedar, and less expensive than pine and pressure-treated wood columns, which have a limited lifespan. They are all susceptible to rot, insects, and disease, especially in this humid oceanic climate. The best wood to use today is teak, and because of its durability, it is among the most expensive. Western red cedar, African mahogany, and redwood all seem to fall in this category. They are expensive and the best because they naturally resist rot, decay, and insects without toxic chemical treatments, thanks to the wood's natural oils. Excuse me. Permacast fiberglass is very durable and less expensive. We respectfully request clarification regarding the denial of the use of permacast fibers columns. Permacast columns are used in the city Charleston Historic District and offer several advantages. Class A fire rating, weatherproof, inspect resistance, and impervious to moisture in humid ocean climates. Greater impact resistance and durability than wood. Lifetime warranty and low maintenance. Visual compatibility when bases are sealed and painted. Maintains character without redesigning the facade. 241's permacast columns are installed centered on 13 by 15 by 13.5 by 2-inch wood-based plates, belted with CS16 galvanized 1.5-inch wide hanger strap metal and secured with timber latch screws. A wooden 13.5 by 13.5 plate is centered at the original location on the outer edge of the porch floor. The permacast footing is centered on the 13.5 and 13.5 by 2-inch wooden base plate. A second 10.5 by 10.5 by 2-inch wooden plate is stabilized directly under the ceiling beam above the plumbed column. The CS16 galvanized 1 by 5 hanger strap metal is strung tightly to the wooden plate, holding the permacast column in place with CS16 1.5-inch wide galvanized hanger strap metal and timber latch screws. If the installation is insufficient, what can be done to address any inadequacies. Permacast fiberglass columns offer many benefits that wooden columns do not and are less expensive. Substandard materials are detrimental to the quality of any home, especially a historic one. Modernization, however, is intended to enhance functionality and quality while preserving the home's character, beauty, and durability. Economically, modern, historically sensitive, updated materials will allow our family, and I am sure we're not alone, to continue living in our ancestral generational historic home. On July 4th, all of America will celebrate America's 250th anniversary. On October 3rd, my family will celebrate our 107th anniversary of owning and living at 241 Cummings. Our goal is to protect the historic character and structural integrity of our estate while using the most durable, cost-effective materials that preserve its historic appearance and ensure longevity. If allowed, there are 5 10-by-8 columns on the upper level porch, spaced in their original spaces under the ceiling beam, approximately 8 feet apart. There are 6 by 10 inch by 9 feet columns on the lower level porch. 4 are placed directly under each matching upper level porch column, approximately 8 feet apart. 2 were placed in their original strategic positions beneath the lower level ceiling beams at the corners. Each column is a load-bearing column, supporting the intended average allowable eccentric load of 4,690 to 5,640 pounds. Each column offers an attractive look comparable to wood, yet is more impact resistant and durable. The pine wooden balusters, 4-inch by 29 and a half, are slightly irregular in width. 15 balusters per railing section in length, 8 balusters each on the front and back upper porch, 8 balusters on the lower porch back side. The pine railing is 2 by 4 by 9 base and a 1 by 5 by 9 cap. And on upper and lower long porch, it's 2 by 4 by 4-inch base with a 1-inch by 5-inch 4-foot cap on upper and lower back porches. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant?
I have a question. Are they installed now? Is this an after the fact or I can't tell from the photos because I see in the photos that there's some construction going on. Are they installed already or you're asking to
They're
install them?
installed already.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we had the permit and we didn't know that the columns were rotten. And they were taken off the premises before I even, I think before I got out of the hospital, because I was in the hospital at the time. And I was told that they were rotten and that everything was gone. And so we went about replacing it. And we had replaced two columns prior to this time. So two of the columns were already fiberglass. And when we did this, of course, we had to get, we had to get all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I assume you had a contractor that was, I assume you had a contractor that was doing this?
No, I had, well, I had a friend acting as a contractor buying material for me. And that material left the premises before I got a chance to really view it myself. But I was told it was rotten, so I just accepted it.
Any other questions? Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking from the public?
I have a question. Since this is done after the fact, how are you gonna rectify? Do they have to rip all of that out?
We'll talk about it during board discussion.
Okay.
Frank, you could give us city staff comments and recommendations, please.
I only have the observation that staff denied a permit due to it being fiberglass columns and only approved repairs to match.
And Ms. Primus Brown, you have the opportunity to respond to anything in the staff comments, but you don't need to. Okay. All right, public comment and the applicant's presentation is now closed. We'll move into board discussion and a vote.
So Frankie, they asked for a permit to have fiberglass columns
So they had a permit for
repair.
and it was approved to match.
Okay.
And I think that was last year. And then there was a post-permit review that asked for fiberglass columns that got denied.
And was that denial, were they installed already? Or we don't know?
I think they,
Okay.
I don't know that for sure.
I'm looking at a photo from 2024 and I can see one of the fiberglass ones, but the wooden ones look fine.
The one on the back corner.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, but the others, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but they don't look. I mean, it's just a street photo, but they don't look like, they're gone now, but they didn't look.
Do you know if they were the original solid columns, wood all the way through, or?
Yeah.
Actually, that
Or had they been replaced?
is 1850.
Uh-huh.
The reality of it. The house was 1850, and the wooden columns. Oh my goodness, they were put in the 40s, the late 40s or the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. And these are the ones that rotted, and the fiberglass are the new ones.
They're not the original one.
Do you know if they were hollow columns or they were, do you know if they were hollow or?
The columns.
Yeah, the ones that came off?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
I was trying to kind of date the
But I would think the original column was just a, what is it, 4x4? Because it was 1850.
Oh, you think they were Victorian turn column?
And you plan on putting back the balusters, the pickets and
Yeah.
rails?
Now that's gonna be the pine,
Right.
and the balusters will be, pine, the railing will be.
Okay,
In fact, they're back.
okay. And you said it's a friend that's doing the work, not a contractor?
Yeah.
Okay.
A friend that I relied on to buy material and
Uh-huh.
what have you for me. Not a friend.
It's a friend, yes.
Who's gonna do the work moving forward? Do you know who might do the work moving forward, or
Pardon?
do you know who might do the work moving forward from this point? Or has it all been done already?
Yeah, well, I know because of my dad,
Uh-huh.
I know different people,
Uh-huh.
so I will be
Okay.
able to get some.
There weren't the original columns.
Yeah, I'm struggling with this. First of all, I mean, I'm very respectful. If you've been in the house and your family has for, I can't remember what you said, over 100 years or something, that
107.
107 years. So that's
7 years.
a long time. On the flip side of that,
And 1919.
okay.
October 3rd, 19.
Yes. Flip side of that, this is a basic preservation rule that we stick to. And I worry about other precedent, setting an example. I don't know if there's a fact that they're already in that makes it complicated to me. And it doesn't seem, it's obviously not intentional like the very first application we have.
Yep.
Clear.
Some of the things I see are more or less the way that they've been installed. It's like, extra blocking has been put up top of it, but maybe there was more of an express beam before, and that beam has gone away. And, so to me, visually, that's more of an issue. Frankie, I'm like you, Eddie. I'm struggling with this one because I think in the past we've made some exceptions for what we call legacy properties.
Yeah.
As a way to.
You let vinyl siding remain on properties. No, it had been vinyl siding.
Yes, it's historic. It's
It-
legacy
it
vinyl
had-
siding. I think that where you're going with, and I didn't know that, I think there should be some credit given for a family that's owned the house for 107 years. And that was quite a speech. That was a very long and very informative. I know more about these fiberglass columns than I will ever need to know, so that's helpful. But I do think, I guess I'm leaning towards approving them based on your family and the history, but I think you have a really good point. I'm looking at this photo. If you could, Travis, could you go to one of it's kind of a dark one, keep going. It's a detail of a column. Yes.
Yeah, go to this one.
Yeah, if you can see it,
That
yes.
one there, yeah.
So and this wouldn't be hard to fix, but you see how this is just a little, couple of 2x? There used to be a beam that came and sat right here. That was, usually they're the width of the column. And it's an express beam, and instead this was done, and you wouldn't have to take out a lot of stuff, but if there's a way. Well, trying to make it simple, but at the very least, this would be a drop beam that's this wide, if that makes sense. It's a little more lumber, but it would get your detail at least closer to what was there, and I think it would feel better on the house. It'd be more appropriate when you have the inappropriate materials and then the details are not like they were, then it just compounds it. But at least we can get that one detail cleaned up a little bit.
It would take the place of that block that was added above the
Yeah.
column that shouldn't be there. Yeah.
And
Yeah, you have this part that should be there. But someone's added this in where there used to be a beam that ran
Yeah, I'm
continuously.
trying to see if there's an old picture in here, and there isn't. Anyway, I would be okay with the support of this if just staff could work out with her new friend that's gonna build boards to get that detail right. I don't think it'd be that hard.
I agree. I don't think that we're setting a precedent based on past.
They've earned it, been good stewards of the house, so.
Not to encourage anyone to do
For sure.
the work, or, because if this were coming to us and the work hadn't been done, I think the decision would. be different.
Absolutely. But it's went outside, so I'm gonna go let him. I wasn't here, so I don't.
Only do what I remember.
I
remember, okay.
They might be.
So now I'm saying it's Bill, it was Bill's decision.
I'm pretty sure it was Bill's decision.
Eddie, did you want to make a motion since you're never on here?
Oh, yeah, you can, right, I'm only temporarily here for one night. I will make,
Appreciate.
thank you. I will, make a motion for approval.
I think you're gonna overturn the staff tonight.
Oh,
Yeah. I think-
okay.
I think that's what you were gonna say.
Yes, that is what I was gonna say. Overturn it, move for overturning of staff denial. Allowing the existing fiberglass columns that are on site to remain. Don't bring any more out there. And working on that column, head detail with staff.
Would you add in there, or is it just? Oh, it's gonna be in the recording, but based on this being a legacy property here.
What Bill said.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's very. Board comments. So that in the beginning.
Okay. So.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Trying to keep up with Miss Promise Brown's long speech.
That was a good speech.
It was.
Okay, so on the basis that this is a legacy property,
Yes, thank you.
the board overturns the staff denial. We're allowing the existing fiberglass columns to remain. And the applicant is to work with staff on the column hood detail.
Yes.
Do I have a second to Eddie's?
Column head detail.
What did I do?
I think you said hood.
I did.
I recall.
Thank you. Bill, I'll put the motion to a vote. Daryl,
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie,
Yeah, in favor.
Bill,
You in favor?
the chair votes the majority and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Agenda item 14 is 152 Fleming Street, Unit A.
152 Cummings Street is in Redcliffe Borough, Council District 4, category 4 second. First district. They are requesting approval of a metal roof replacement. This property is located on Cummings Street, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
Yeah. Make a quick look at the before I hand it over to Richard, my roofer. I'm Lee Holiday. I'm the general contractor on site. My goals are always health, safety, and in this case with historical builds, it's preservation. You want to keep everything intact. I'm from Charleston, done a whole mess of these. So that's our number one goal, as always, with these historical things. But under these conditions, my client is immunocompromised. So we've dug real hard and we want to make sure that all things that could potentially cause her problems, health wise or other, we're trying to give those attention. Or otherwise I wouldn't even bring it to y'all. We're going to do a full house mold remediation because the quantity of mold that we found in here in this house has been pretty extensive. I think recoating it is just a time bomb. The previous owner made so many rigs and repairs, and the roof was one of them. If you look up under, you can see that they put plywood. That's relatively new, and that was leaking when we started the project. They've consistently done things improperly throughout the whole project that we found, had to rip out, redo, and it's just been an ongoing issue. And I'm just concerned about recoating it and what will fail next. because everything up there was done so wrong. Pass it to Richard.
My name is Richard Kerr, so I'm the owner of Hope Star Roofing. We just plan to follow the guidelines. Hand crimp, 26 gauge, keep everything the same color.
Any questions?
You think this is the original roof?
Yeah,
The date of construction?
the seals are failed on the roof. It's a lot of
Yeah, you can, it's.
Yeah,
in
I
good shape.
mean, yeah, I mean, I think, didn't we see this before? I don't remember. And I don't think we had close-up photos then, did we?
I had some drone photos from 30 feet
Yeah, this is
up.
coming back.
I have some photos here.
Yeah, we got some close-ups here that, unless you got anything extra, I mean,
Does it have seal effects on it?
it looks like it's been.
There's a handful.
you can just see.
Yeah.
Like
What we
moved
got
in
here.
the valleys. Whatever.
It looked
Okay.
like it's been coated multiple
Yeah.
times. Everything's got a lifespan, you know, I mean, I think last time it was that we didn't have enough information on the actual
The
damage.
drone photos, we just couldn't.
We couldn't tell, last time.
Any questions? Thank you. Is anyone speaking? No? Frankie?
We just had observation, it was previously denied by you guys, in March, so. Cannot overturn that.
Did you want to respond to or clarify anything? All right, we are in board discussion and a vote.
Yeah, this thing's been coated multiple times and it's got some bad repairs. I can even see the Silflex fabric showing through in some places. That's, I don't have an issue with it. It's.
I move for approval.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, for its conceptual approval, with final review by staff,
I would just give that final. I don't think it needs to.
final approval. Okay, do I have a second to Eddie's motion? Daryl? All right. Motion to a vote. Bill?
Yeah, in favor.
Eddie?
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl?
Yeah, in favor.
Chair votes the majority and the motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you.
You did say this will have a hand grip ridge
He
as
said-
well? Yes. No ridge, but hand grip, yeah, everything.
All right, thank you.
Give me 4 long hours. Thank you.
You will still need your permit, even though they gave final approval.
Yes, thank you.
Make sure you get a permit. We learned that tonight. All right.
Very important.
It is
Permit.
important.
I have to point that out sometimes.
Agenda item
A lot of
15, 394 Meeting Street. Frankie, if you'll give us an introduction overview of the project, please.
Okay, 394 Meeting Street is in East Side, Council District 4. It is not surveyed. Circa 2000 in the old historic district. You're requesting approval for illuminated signage.
Oh,
I love
the
it.
cool building.
Yeah. 50s, 40s.
Shed building, and I will turn it over to the applicant.
It's 2000.
This dude,
I don't know why it says 2000.
I think that's
about to
1940s.
say you're wrong. but
I
it's not.
don't know why it says.
That is not 2000.
Definitely not. So, hello guys, my name is Lindsay and this is my partner George. We own Ringio Sign. George was actually just here last night.
And
Here, get an extra week. So we're gonna get to know you guys really well. So to my knowledge, the proposed sign that we have put in our application to you guys meets all of the necessary kind of preliminary requirements as far as materials, size, mounting, everything like that. So we are basically here to talk to you guys about possibility of illuminating that sign. The owners of the building recently did a fairly expansive and extensive remodel of the inside. It's fairly impressive now, and they're getting to the point now where they want to extend that to the exterior of the building to elevate the facade and create and establish a great high-end spot for new tenants, office space and retail. So with that, I'll turn it over to you guys for questions. It's really just about the illumination.
What type of business is it?
So it's a multi-tenant building that has, I believe, up to 6 or 7 tenant spaces available. The first floor, there's actually a retail tenant already there. The majority of the building is what I would consider office space, but the downstairs actually has a very large square footage towards the rear that actually would be perfect for instance, college school that offers evening classes, things like that, shared workspaces. So it really is a quite a mix, if you will.
I'm sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to cut you off,
go
but
ahead.
to give you a little context, I believe Ernest Andrade started the Charleston Digital Corridor in
He
that
did.
space, and I
School of
believe the
Commerce
school
is
law
there.
was also in that space for a time. So just to give you some context as far as how it's set up internally.
So seen on meeting is not the name of the business.
Not, there
This
are
is
multiple
to
businesses
identify
in
the
there.
building.
They will identify the building much like, you know, the foundry or the cigar factory. It's, you know, it's a unique building. Once you figure out which one it is, you go, oh, yeah. But outside of that, 394 Meeting Street, I think they want to establish a place where their tenants can say, hey, we're at the scene on meeting, which kind of has a double meaning with scene. But
So it won't necessarily be like retail tenants that are all open during the day. They could be open at all.
Yeah, I believe one of the anticipated or possible uses would be for continuing education or nighttime or night school
Yeah.
and so forth.
much like the School of Law did.
Yeah.
And, I believe
And the sign has not been approved at all yet. This is a sign and also an illuminated sign that we're reviewing. Or is it the sign? Has the sign been approved? It's just the illumination that we're not approved or we're reviewing or
I
what?
don't believe the sign's been approved, so
Okay.
they are requesting this illuminated sign so you can.
If it wasn't illuminated, could it be approved as staff? Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe it's already gone through the, you know, the building planning. So
Zoning,
we're here
whatever.
because it's illuminated. Yep.
Any other questions?
So this is, it doesn't have like a raceway behind it. Everything's
It
fed from
doesn't. It's
below.
actually going to be a bottom mount. There's an existing canopy there, and this will sit on top of the existing canopy. And believe it or not, there's actually already an electrical junction there, which tells me that there may be a sign there at one point, whether it was permitted or not. So it will actually mount straight to the bottom, the top of the canopy.
Yeah,
If-
Just start making noises when he's. Go ahead.
That'll give them a.
Well, it's my turn.
You
No.
can have the podium.
No, we actually submitted and were approved for something very, very similar for Ethos Gym on UG Street as
It's
far as
actually the
the
same
types of
exact-
letters, construction and so forth.
Any other questions? Thank you. There is no one here to speak for the public. Frankie, you'll give us city staff comments and recommendations.
I just have the observation that staff can approve illuminated signage.
Did you want to respond to anything in the staff?
I wish staff could approve.
Yeah, we've been getting to know you guys a lot better this year.
Yeah, the hand painting thing is.
Staff says, no, we're not doing the illuminated part. That's on them.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move into board discussion and a vote. And I only ask if we, go ahead.
I can see this two ways, okay? I know the policy is that generally illuminated signs are for nighttime businesses. However, due to the style of this building, when this building was built, it could have had something like this. It's not like it's a 1850s building.
I agree. And by the way, I appreciate you staying here until the very end. I disagree. I mean, I think if this were a business that you're looking for at night, could maybe go with it. Seen on meeting, I mean, that's just, it's a lot. They're over a foot tall. Did y'all do the ethos sign? Yeah, it looks great. That's the building's different, you know? That's a shorter word. You know, that's sign's this big, your sign's
It is.
giant, you know, and this building's not as big as the ethos building, so and it's Meeting Street, you know, and it's lit up, I don't know, if the sign was somehow more 1940s, you know, I could maybe buy into it, but, and I mean, I appreciate it, y'all are just asking, I just think we have to be careful about lit signs. Because the
I
next
agree, I
guy's
agree.
gonna come down and we gave them a lit sign, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not in favor of a lot of signage in general. And in this case, this isn't a business, it's just, you know, if you can't find the address, you know.
And we don't know that a nighttime business is going to go in here.
No, I
I
mean,
think that's what's getting me is that when we approve these, there's an existing business that we're aware of, and it's like, on Calhoun Street, there was this will only be open at night. Okay, yes, limited signage. Daytime, we've denied it. This is it's anticipated to be. I think if they came back with an actual tenant that was, if it was a night school.
maybe. I mean, I think, and this doesn't help y'all because y'all are the sign folks, but I'm looking at those aluminum letters up. Can you show the photo of the building instead of the words? You know, the avant-garde font up there, be cool if you lit those, you know what I mean? Just the numbers. I know that didn't help you because you guys are sign people. But it's, then the building would look more, it would be more appropriate to the facade to me.
The facade actually has undergone some recent changes. There was a separate permit pulled, not by us. The canopy is now black. I think they're kind of trying to take it back a little bit to that mid-century style and elevate and take away kind of the metal looking kind of thing. So they've actually painted all of that black, and we knew that was part of the plan.
Mhm.
I didn't put it in our rendering because I didn't want to confuse anyone thinking that we were trying to pull a permit for paint as well. And this has been a process since, oh my gosh, I think
Over a year.
Yeah.
a long time. So I didn't want to cause confusion, but part of the reason that we designed the letters the way they are is because we wanted them to blend in with that black canopy, which I do have a rendering of the signage with the new black canopy. But the visible part at night is simply it's a 1/2 inch stroke of a light, just like the ethos letters. So while it's illuminated, it's not your typical in your face kind of facelit channel letter. It's very subtle, and it does have that mid-century modern kind of vibe to it, if you will, to match the building architecture.
So the whole face doesn't like.
No, it's just a thin stroke.
Look at
Inside
that.
it.
That's-
Oh,
So
yeah.
that T actually,
Ethos
that's the
signage.
picture I came up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's,
Yeah.
in I believe the proposed sign for them, the T that is a stock photograph there is a double stroke. I believe we're
Ours is
proposing a
just a
single
single
stroke.
stroke like the ethos sign that you see down there.
Neon or something? or-
It's actually, it's supposed to mimic
I know
kind
there's
of
a
a,
different type.
the
that's not
retro neon, but it's not,
looks
it's
like neon.
concealed LEDs that are built. I should have bought the letter. I have a sample letter that we actually had to make for the city architect to review for the ethos sign, and we actually still have that. It's a nice hand fabricated letter. They're 3 inches thick. But the LEDs actually go inside the letter. They're completely concealed. And then the face is solid, but what we do is we route a thin channel in it and we push acrylic through it. And so the light,
Some dimension.
it has a little, yeah, so that channel in the middle sticks out about 1/4 inch from the actual face of the letter. However, it's still within the edge, so it has a recessed face, so the can of the letter actually comes out past it. And so then you can see a little bit of that channel. The beautiful thing is we use warm LED lighting to kind of get that retro feel, not that really bright, ugly bluish white. I can't handle it. So this will have more of a vintage retro feel, if you will. And we also can provide a dimmer so that we can control the amount of light, but it's a very subtle, classy kind of sign. And you know, I was born and raised in Charleston, and quite frankly, I never thought I'd get into the sign business. I don't like them either. And so I actually enjoy doing what we do because we don't do janky signs.
Yeah.
Nothing drives me more bonkers than seeing.
Well-
We get a bad rap because people take the cheap way out all the time. I don't like it.
And
So,
I hear you on that, because
Yeah.
I love really great signs that add to the architecture,
So-
right? So I'm probably more lenient on that than others, but I think in this case, I mean, part of it, it's not your fault, but seen on meeting is is a lot of letters, right? And it's just, ethos is perfect. And so I could,
What if it got smaller and maybe moved to one end of the canopy or something?
maybe, I mean, again, 13 inches, right?
Yeah.
You know, how long is it?
It is, that is pretty tall.
It's less than 2/3 of the width. I know that because it has to be that.
Whatever, 80,
And the
189
canopy,
inches.
I wanted to make sure that the letters were not obnoxiously taller than the canopy face itself. And so they were designed to not overpower the canopy.
And another compromise, because I know the lighting is an issue and I understand. I was here last night at the other bar meeting for a project that we have on Mary Street. And
How'd you do on that one?
What's that?
How'd you do on that one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Victory.
Maybe 1%. 50% is pretty good.
Oh my God.
What might help you is the compromise we came up with them is the fact that we would install the dimmer and it would be subject to approval after installation to make sure that it was in line with what everyone was.
I appreciate that, but it'll be turned up. Crank it the next day. I'm not, yeah.
It'd be 20 feet in the air, so I doubt the average person would get a step ladder and do that.
Well, yeah. I don't know. We're kind of being, we get kind of punchy, but I'm not in support of whatever 189 inches long is, by 13 inches high.
I don't have a
Seems like a
problem
lot to
with them being stand-up letters on the canopy. I don't have an issue with that. It's more or less, it's a big sign. And then also, are these individual businesses that are gonna come back and say, well, I want a sign with my business name on it?
Or the building next to it.
Yeah.
No, actually, the landlord made the retail tenant that's currently there. Went through the trouble to get a permit and put his own sign on the building without letting the landlord know, and she made them take it down. She does not want any other tenant signage on the building. It's their building, and we're working with them for several of the properties, and they are.
Yeah.
So this will be the only building sign, no tenant signage. Outside of, they do want a directory to, on the outside, but that's a whole conversation for another day.
And I have not been following the rules, but we're in board discussions, I think.
It's late.
What else?
No, I know.
There's somebody watching right now.
Somebody's gonna watch, they're gonna look at me and say, look what you did.
Well,
I wanna talk.
I can be outvoted, but I just, and no offense to you guys, but I just can't afford.
Yeah.
The lid sign.
I think it's either or. It's either as is with no lighting or modified and reduced, and then maybe we consider lighting.
Have you seen the ethos lit at night? I haven't.
I don't know that I paid attention to it.
Maybe it's not very.
I mean, I go by there, you know, I need to go to Ethos, I guess, but I'm just looking at the photo. I really like how y'all did a really nice job with that. And I get that that's how it's there's a lot of relief and there's richness to it. And it's, again, I'll say it one more time, it's not your fault, but seen on meeting is a lot. It's not what I would, part of the problem is I can't get past that title. I don't think that's a very good title for a place.
Well,
That's not my business, but if it's a sign, it doesn't make it more attractive, right? Or in
So-
keeping with the building.
Do we wanna defer?
What does
To
that
me,
help them?
To me, it's more of size than the stand-up letters. Daryl, we haven't seen anything.
When I went to Google Earth and started going up and down the street, and this seemed very pronounced to a lot of things on the street. So I would tend to make me fall into the category of that might be a little much. And usually I follow your lead on signs because you've been doing this so long, you know what the city likes and doesn't like. And also, you know, once they get up higher, there seems to be a problem with that, or it's less attractive to the city. So.
There's a big budget.
And if it were just one word, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation, right?
I probably have a little bit, but less so.
But also the illuminated signs that we've approved, they have been smaller, sort of
Yes.
logos
and
or.
The fact that's kind of what I was getting, not just the precedent, but you know, the more the accumulation of these
Yeah.
on Meeting Street, it could get out of hand.
It's not King Street,
Yeah.
which is a little brighter and especially this area
So-
of meetings. This area of Meeting Street is, I drive this way home.
Yeah,
Like it's at this point in time is not lit up full of businesses, unlike if you go one street over to King.
All right, well, I'm gonna move for denial. Sorry, y'all. Just, that doesn't mean you can't come back with something slightly different, but denial is submitted.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for denial as submitted. Daryl with second. Thank you, Daryl. Put the motion to a vote. Bill?
Nay opposed, and that's based upon sizes.
Eddie?
Yeah, in favor.
Daryl?
Yeah, in favor.
The chair votes to the majority and the motion passes 3-4 and 1 against. All right, motion to adjourn, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do you have a second? Thank you, Bill. All in favor?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.